A nicely done rendition of the national anthem gets us ready for homecoming between the Southwestern Pirates and the Sul Ross Lobos. It's homecoming day, and the Pirates are looking to bounce back from their first loss of the season last week, 27-0 against Texas Lutheran University. I'm Carl Schoening, along with Kelly Duvall. Down on the sidelines, Chuck Cracy. We're happy you guys joined us here as we are excited to bring you another edition of Southwestern University football, and it's part of a grueling 9 straight weeks of football. The first loss of the season last week. Kelly, you were there for it, and a lot of injuries are being dealt with by the Pirates, and overall this is just a perfect opportunity for them to bounce back on homecoming day to rejuvenate this long stretch of the season.
That's right, Carl. Last week a young team got even younger because they're missing 8 starters from injuries. So they're going to have to overcome, and it was a very uncharacteristic offense last week for Southwestern. They couldn't move the football like they had in previous weeks. So this is a bounce-back game. This is one that they need to bounce back and do what they want to do on offense. They're going to get some young guys a lot of playing time this week, so it'll be interesting to see how the Pirates bounce back.
Yeah, it will be an interesting opportunity to see a lot of young players today slated in the quarterback position. Freshman Landry Gilpin will be getting his first start ever for the Southwestern Pirates, as both Coleman Kerr and Austin Emery are going to be out with injuries. It looks like the Pirates, wearing their yellow jerseys with black numerals and black helmets, won the coin toss and deferred to the second half. They will be defending the south end zone. The Sul Ross Lobos will be wearing their red uniforms with red pants, gray helmets. And we get ready for kickoff here on SHN Sports. We're going to go down and check in with Chuck Cracy. He's with Joe Austin.
Real quick, Coach, tough game last week. It's homecoming this week, a little warm today. What can we expect from your offense?
Direct your attention to the 50-yard line.
From the whole team, we've got to hustle, right? And hustle and effort will lead to better execution than what we had last week. And then offensively, we've got to take care of the football.
Great, Coach. Good luck today.
All right, thank you, Chuck. Down there on the sidelines with Nathan Height, our sideline camera operator. Up here with us, Michael Francis, our director for the day. And once again, Carl Schoening and Kelly Duvall here on the call as the Pirates look to bounce back from their first loss of the season. And no place like home after that first loss.
Exactly, and I think Southwestern's excited. You see a little pep in their step in these warm-ups, and warm-ups look crisp. The challenge today for the Pirates is going to be anything through the air. They struggled last week after Austin Emery went down. Landry Gilpin had a little bit of problems trying to get dialed in on his passes, but he looks crisp in the warm-ups before the game, and it's going to be fun to watch and see how these guys react to losing so many of their leaders on the team. But I'm excited to watch this football game today.
It'll be Drachon Moody as well as Keandris Page back deep to receive this kick from Will Earps, who sends it away from the 35 total leather, and this is a wobbly kick that goes off of the hands of Moody. He fields it at the 3-yard line across the 10 to 15, finds hole at the 20, shuffles his feet at the 25, and is eventually brought down at the 31-yard line. Tackle made there by the kicker, Will Earps. He had to go ahead and clean up his own work as Moody went ahead and shuffled past the original blockers, and a solid field position considering all things on the kind of almost bobbled catch there.
Yeah, Southwestern did a good job on defense last week. They started getting tired near the end of the game, so if they can pick up where they left off last week and get the offense going, then the Pirates ought to be in good shape this week.
Trey Johns will be coming out here. Behind him is Greer, who will be the quarterback, the running back, and he'll go under center as he changes formation over to the right side. A handoff to Greer, who gets past the trenches and on 1st and 10 stays on his feet past the 35, gets a second push to the 36-yard line, and a solid gain of 5 yards on first down will set up a good second down opportunity for them.
That's what you want to see from your running back. Get those pads low, keep driving those legs, and he did, and he was able to turn a 1 or 2 yard gain into about 5 yards for the Lobos.
Wilton Greer, the tailback. It's John under center, and John will go ahead and give it back to Greer, but he will go ahead and get hit at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. A big tackle made there for the Southwestern Pirates by Nick Hackett, and there's an injured Lobo on the field.
There he is. Also in on that play was Grant Mitchell, the junior from Houston, junior defensive tackle in there. Good penetration on that line. Dove in, stopped that play before it ever could develop, turned it into a loss or a stop right at the line of scrimmage. So Pirates need to hold the Lobos right here. We'll see what this injury results in. Hopefully this young man's not hurt bad.
Wilton Greer, the tailback, was the one who will be assisted up and helped off of the field. That was a lot of weight that brought him down on that tackle.
It was, with Hackett and Hackett on you and the defensive tackle both in there on top of you. That's a lot of weight to carry. So big third down here early in the game.
14:07 left to play in the first quarter. We're scoreless on the first drive of the game. And it looks like it'll be 5 wide here for Trey Johns. Johns will drop back, scans to his left, fires to his left. It's intercepted. Coming up with it for the Pirates is Hayden Smith. And the first pass of the game results in the first turnover of the game. And the Pirates will get great field position to start their first drive in Lobos territory.
Good job by the senior defensive back, Hayden Smith, coming in there. He's watching the quarterback's eyes the entire time. He was right on the back shoulder of that receiver, and he stepped right in front of him just as soon as the ball got there. So it's a big turnover. Now we see if the Pirates can see what their offense is going to do with these new young guys in there.
The Pirates will start at the Lobos 41-yard line. 13:56 left to play in the first quarter. Landry Gilpin leads the offense out there. He'll start in the pistol. Behind him is Elijah Smith. Gilpin 1st and 10 from the 41, hands it off to Smith, who goes around his right tackle, shuffles his feet at the 35, gets across the 30, and is down inside the 25-yard line. They officially mark him down at the 22, and a gain of 12 on first down. Goes ahead and moves the chains.
Lance Cruz, the tight end out there on that end, did a good job of springing that block out there on the end and moving his guy out of the way. Opened up a lot of room for the running back. Good first start, good start to this drive. Last week it was mistakes that Southwestern made that really killed some of their drives, so they got to stay away, especially those pre-snap penalties. If they can stay away from that, they should be in good shape today. 1st
and 10 from the Lobos 22-yard line, out of the shotgun, Gilpin, and he hands it off to Smith, who dropped it on the deck, but he was able to cover it before he coughed it up to the opposing team. And turnovers were an issue last week. This time it cost them 3 yards. Luckily, it didn't cost them the football.
Gilpin probably has some nerves going. It's his first college start, so shake those nerves off. Those are the kind of mistakes that really, really stopped them last week.
Officially a loss of 4, 2nd and 14. The ball marked on the 26-yard line. Gilpin in the shotgun. Behind him is Elijah Smith. Trips left, single receiver to the right. And a flag will come in here. It looked like the ball was snapped, but it might have been a false start. It will be a false start on the Southwestern Pirates. I couldn't quite tell what happened. One of the more unique false starts, you'll see where looked like the entire defensive line was reading the football and jumped, but it goes ahead and goes on the Pirates. Backs them up 5.
Yeah, sometimes that center will move that ball a little bit, and the guards right next to him will jump based on that movement because they're trying to get off the football quick, and it cost them that time. And again, that's what hurt Southwestern last week early in the game. They need to overcome that.
So 2nd and 19, ball into the 31-yard line. Clock moving at 12 minutes left to play in the first quarter. It's a pass here from Gilpin, who overthrows his intended receiver, and Anthony Stevens will have to wait to get an opportunity to touch the ball first. I think Gilpin might have just thrown that away because he saw Stevens in double coverage and just made that uncatchable.
It was hard to tell if he threw it away or he had some issues last week and not being able to get his feet set. It'll be referred to sometimes as happy feet, but didn't get his feet set real good for an accurate throw, but he may have been just throwing it away like you said, Carl.
Devin Shaw in the backfield now, as he's probably in for blocking on 3rd and 19 from the 31-yard line. Instead, it'll be a keeper for Landry Gilpin across the 25 to the 20 to the 15. Stutter steps to the 10 and is out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Landry Gilpin doing it with his feet, picking up the first down on 3rd and 19.
That was something that we did see out of Gilpin last week. One of the positives that they were able to take away was Gilpin and the other quarterbacks were able to do some stuff with their feet. So they'll probably rely on that running game a bunch today. May have wanted to hit some quick passes to get Gilpin comfortable back there in the pocket, but we'll probably see a heavy dose of run today.
1st and goal from the 6, 11:50 left to play in the first quarter. Gilpin with Shaw behind will pitch to Brandenburg. Brandenburg trying to make a defender miss the 10, and he will not be able to make him miss as Isaiah Jacobs is the one who makes the stop, and it'll be a loss on the play to the 8-yard line.
Brandenburg came across in motion. It looked kind of like a traditional option, but he had Brandenburg following him, and he had the running back following him as well, so there was some confusion back there for Gilpin on who to pitch the ball to. Somebody was in the wrong place.
Eli Smith comes back in as the tailback out of the pistol. Gilpin in the shotgun. Brandenburg in the backfield joining them along with Austin Casieja. It's a handoff to Elijah Smith, and he's able to work his way forward about a yard to the 7. And that'll bring up 3rd and goal from the 7 for the Pirates. And it's an opportunity here to try and see if Gilpin can maybe do it with his feet again, as he did it last time. And, you just call that design run, and maybe they can get the option correct this time.
Anthony Stevens was out wide, number 14, and he pulls even out past the numbers, which is much farther, especially when they're lined up on the other side, to pull that defender out of the play.
3rd and goal from the 7. Man goes in motion right to left. Rolling out to the left is Gilpin. He hits that man in motion. That's David Brandenburg, and Brandenburg is brought down by Isaiah Jacobs for no gain on the play. They will give him 1 yard, but that'll bring up 4th and goal from the 6.
The Lobos stiffened once they got down there inside the 10 off of the Gilpin run. But again, if you back up several plays, then you go back to the dropped snap, the dropped exchange, the pre-snap penalties, and that's what Southwestern has to eliminate.
Will Earps will attempt the field goal here, and he puts toe to leather, sends it through, and the Pirates on the board for the first time this afternoon. They take an early lead, 3-0. As a 23-yard field goal attempt is good for Will Earps. The Pirates' offense stalls out, but if anything, Gilpin was able to make that a much more manageable field goal attempt for his kicker, as he was able to pick up a 3rd and 19 with his feet.
That run was huge, and what Southwestern does on their offense is a lot of times they'll show up in a spread formation, but they do a heavy dose of running out of that, and they're trying to draw those cornerbacks and defensive backs out of the defensive play. But they got points from it. Touchdown would have been nicer, but points off that first drive is huge, especially whenever you go scoreless last week.
Kadarius Page and Draychon Moody back deep to receive this kick from Earps, and Earps is going to take a full 10-yard charge from the 25 to the 35, puts toe to leather, and it's an end-over-end kick of beauty. Moody will take it again from the 2-yard line. Down the right hash mark, makes a couple defenders miss before he is brought down short of the 20. Officially marked down at the 18-yard line, and this time around, the special team for the Pirates gets him to be a much more favorable defensive spot.
He didn't have that lane out on the outside like he had on the previous kick, because all the guys ran down in their lanes, stayed in their lanes, and made him have to bounce that run back inside. So good job by the SU special teams on that kick.
Well, Trey Johns threw an interception on his last drive out there, which led to good field position for the Pirates. The Lobos take back the field. Johns in the shotgun, and he throws men in motion, and he'll go back under center. Johns will hand this off, and the running back will get hit in the backfield for no gain on the play. That's Phoenix getting his first carry. As we saw earlier, Wilton Greer had to be helped off with an injury right before that interception. No gain on the play this time around.
We see what the defense started with last week against Texas Lutheran. TLU had a hard time running the ball in the first couple of quarters, and we see this really stout Southwestern defense that's hard to run against. until they get tired later in the game if they're on the field as much as they were last week. So that's the defense is picking up right where they left off last week.
2nd and 10 from the 23-yard line. It's Phoenix clearing out of the backfield. He catches a swing pass, but he'll be hit and brought down in the flats. And a really nice tackle made by Ludman, and he was reading that the whole way.
He was, and Southwestern did a good job of moving over to that side of the field. He had no place to go. Good, solid tackle out there, one-on-one, but he breaks that tackle. He's still going to get swarmed by yellow jerseys, these Bumblebee uniforms.
Clock keeps moving here at 8:30 left to play in the first quarter. Phoenix in the backfield with Johns, who moves in the shotgun. He has 2 receivers on both sides. 3rd and 10. Lobos at their own 23-yard line. It's a play action, and then Phoenix gets hit and with the pass, and then he gets hit by a Pirate. A nice tackle made by the Pirates, Christopher Crawford, and that'll bring up 4th down, and out comes the punting unit for the Lobos.
They're trying to set up the screen, and the 3 rushers, the 3 linemen for SU made it back to the quarterback quick, kind of caused them to throw that ball a little sooner than I think he wanted to, but then the guys blocking downfield missed their blocks, and Southwestern swarmed that. So 3 and out for the Pirates on that defensive stand right there. Get the ball back and then try to put some more points on the board.
Chad Cross will punt this away. Brandenburg and Castilleja back deep. This punt is blocked and deflected. It takes a roll for the Lobos to the 35-yard line, down just before that. And a good job by the special teams to get in there and make the stop or get the deflected punt and set up their offense for another good field position in plus territory.
Defense has started strong. Special teams are now picking it up. Offense picks it up, and this is a game that can get Southwestern back where they want to be.
Yeah, the Pirates trying to bounce back from their first loss of the season last week at Texas Lutheran. 7:34 left to play in the first quarter. The Pirates lead 3-0. And they start out at the Lobos 34 after the deflected punt. Gilpin in the shotgun. He has Elijah Smith behind him. And it's a pitch here to Smith. Smith takes it around the right side and gets the first down as he picks up 12 on the first play from scrimmage on this drive.
I'll be surprised if there's something besides maybe a quick hit throw that's really an extension of the running game, because they had some difficulties early on. So, again, we're going to see a healthy dose of the running backs. We'll see Gilpin's capabilities running the football. Good first down run on the first play of this series for the Pirates.
1st and 10 from the 25. It's a different formation here in getting the direct snap and running behind his left guard, getting dragged down by the shirt for the Pirates is J.J. Slack, the receiver, in at the Wildcat formation. And with all those injuries to the quarterback and a very run-heavy offense, Slack gets his first opportunity and picks up 2 yards.
We saw the strength right there, big number 85, Holiday for Sol Ross. He just grabbed him by the shirt, completely stopped his forward momentum. Matter of fact, he changed it back and just pulled him to the ground. Big, strong kid down there for Sol Ross. Goodness.
2nd and 8 from the 21. Gilpin in the shotgun sends Castilleja in motion. It's a zone read. Gilpin keeps it, wants to throw it. He's under pressure, decides to tuck it and run. Gets across the 20 to the 18-yard line before he is brought down on the play. The tackle made by the big man 98, Jay Hanneth, and that will go ahead and lead to a injury timeout. It's Gilpin, and the last thing that the Pirates need is another injury at the quarterback position, as Gilpin started the season as the 3rd quarterback behind Austin Emery and Coleman Kerr. And the next man up on the depth chart is Hank Moore, another freshman from Stephenville.
That would be a absolutely devastating loss for the Pirates right there. You got Hank Moore warming up right now to go in, but hopefully Landry can jump up here and shake this injury off and be all right to get back in the game.
6:04 left to play in the first quarter. It's homecoming here for the Southwestern Pirates. They have an early lead, 3-0, and unfortunately this early injury here being tended to is Landry Gilpin. We're going to go ahead and step aside, and hopefully everything will be all right with Mr. Gilpin when we come back. 6:04 remaining in the first. Pirates lead it 3-0.
They can't have that.
Well, Andrew Gilpin is helped off of the field. Hank Moore will be the quarterback for the Pirates, and with 6:04 remaining in the first period, the Pirates lead at 3-0. It'll be 3rd and 5. The ball on the Lobos' 18-yard line.
That's a tough blow right there. Coach has to just be beside himself with all the injuries that they've had this year. My goodness.
It's Elijah Smith in the shotgun, kind of a wildcat formation. He's going to follow Dawson, his blocker, and he gets to the 21-yard line, only picks up 2 yards. And this is a situation where you know that the box is going to be stacked until Gilpin gets back in and really make the run game hard. And a 4th down coming up, and I think they're going to give Herbst an opportunity here to kick a field goal.
They are, and that's going to be the right call right here because you got a kid coming in and had only taken 1 snap in 4th down in this area. You got a kicker that's got a pretty decent leg to him, so it'll be a 33-yard attempt here to try to go up 6-0.
Brandenburg will be the holder. Herbst, who already made a 23-yarder, 10 yards further out, will get this one the distance and the accuracy to make it a 6-0 lead. Pirates dealing with some injuries at the most important position at sports, still have a 6-0 lead with 5:15 left to play in the first quarter. We'll be right back on SHN Sports. .15 left to play in the first quarter. We're back here on SHN Sports. It's Page and Moody back deep to receive this kick from Herbst, who just sent in his 2nd field goal of the day. He's responsible for all 6 points here, and
Number 31, Drake John Moody.
Herbst lines it up from the 35-yard line. He takes a 9-yard charge from the 26, toe to leather, and it's a booming kickoff that will go off Moody's hands into the end zone, and he'll just let it roll out the back for a touchback.
Well, they're going to have to hang on that defense, and now with Gilpin hurt, hopefully Gilpin can make it back in, but they're going to have to rely on that defense to keep the Lobos off the board and get another new quarterback rolling again.
Yeah, it looked like Moore was loosening up his arm as Elijah Smith was the quarterback via proxy, I suppose, in the Wildcat. And the defense, which has forced a punt that was blocked on special teams and also an interception grab by Hayden Smith on the first drive, will come out for the 3rd series to defend the end zone. The Lobos have yet to get across midfield. They start at the 25 following the touchback. 1st and 10 for Trey Johns and company. He has Phoenix in the backfield with him. Out of the shotgun, 2 men go in motion to move over to the right side. Man in motion from the left to right, and it's flipped to that man in motion. He tries to go around right end, and he gets across the 25. He's dropped short of the 30-yard line. And nice job by the receiver, Colton Walker, to pick up a few positive yards for an offense hungry just to get a little something going.
Good backside pressure that time for the Pirates, chasing down that run. Still, they were able to get 4 yards, and that 2nd and 6 is significantly more palatable for an offense than 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10.
Moody was the one who carried, I beg your pardon here, as it's out of a shotgun. Johns will drop back on 2nd and 6. Throws to the left side. It was completed, and getting thrown out of bounds after picking up the first down is Jaden Holiday. and that moves the chains. A sight for sore eyes for the Lobos, as this is the first time they've gotten across the 35.
Good job by Johns that time, staying in there and completing that pass. He had pressure bearing down right in his face, and he saw that defender coming at him, but he stayed in there and threw the pass out there. Took a shot after the throw, but it's a good throw, first down for the Lobos.
Trey Johns with 2 men in the backfield with him on 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. A handoff, and it's Greer back in, and he gets a yard on the handoff for his first carry since he left with an injury earlier in the game. Clock keeps moving here, or actually they paused it at 3:40. Not sure why they stopped the clock. Brings up 2nd and 9 anyway. Ball on the 39-yard line. Trey Johns in the shotgun. Fumbles the ball, and Johns will have to hit it back on the deck. A little bit of miscommunication there as he was trying to hand it off to the tight end who's in the backfield, Ryan Robinson. And as the ball hits the deck, it'll be a loss back to the 38-yard line, a loss of 1 on the play. And the clock moving again at 3:10 left in the first quarter. The Pirates just missing an opportunity for another turnover. On
that zone read, Johns held on to the ball just a little bit too long before making a decision, and by then you got both the players pulling on the football, and it squirts free like that. Same thing happened last week to Southwestern.
3rd and 10 here, and a little movement on the front line will make this a little bit harder of a first down to gain for the Lobos, as they're going to be backed up 5 yards.
Those pre-snap penalties, I was looking at the coach for the Lobos over there and just shaking his head, man. Those pre-snap penalties, the mistakes that aren't forced by the defense or the other team are the ones that really drive you crazy.
3rd and 15, ball on the 33-yard line. Trey Johns in the backfield with Greer to his left. Play action. Johns drops back on 5 steps, hits Greer on the screen, and immediately brought down on the play by Christopher Crawford, who's been sniffing out that screen all day. A 5-yard gain, but a flag on the play, and a hold.
Sorry about that. There's a hold out here. Big number 70, White, for the Lobos, was just hanging on to the defender for Southwestern, and the referee was looking right at it.
I would assume that's declined. It will be declined, and Brandenburg and Castilleja will be back deep to receive this kick.
Yeah, that was one of those holds that you can't hide. When you're looking at the back of the guy's head and you got a hold of his jersey and the referee's watching you do that dance, they're going to throw the flag every time.
The punter, Chad Cross, will get ready. He had the last punt blocked. He's able to get this one off. Brandenburg will watch this one roll. A great Lobos roll towards the 20-yard line, and they angled out of bounds at the 24 by the sideline judge over there, and the worst field position on the first offensive drive since Landry Gilpin went down with an injury. And it's a little bit of testing time here for Hank Moore, as the freshman from Stephenville will get his first snaps of the season.
Well, Hank, coming from Stephenville has had a history of turning out good quarterbacks. We'll see what his fundamentals are. We'll see if he's got that built in from his days in high school. But it doesn't matter what level you're playing at. Your first time in a game at that level is always a little nerve-wracking.
Shaw and Gonzalez in the backfield with Moore, and it's a handoff to Gonzalez, and he shows off the wheels across the 30 to the 35-40, and he's out of bounds around the 45 as he was pushed out. A good job by the fullback, looking more like a running back in Dawson Gonzalez, the freshman from Katy, Texas, making his move down the right sideline.
Elijah Norris, the wide receiver out there, number 4 for the Pirates, was able to hold up the cornerback a little bit out there on the edge. Might have gotten away with a little bit of a hold out there on the edge, but he was able to spring that run out there for a good gain on first down.
Elijah Smith is the tailback here for Moore. 2 men in the backfield. That's Castilleja and Brandenburg, and it's a handoff to Smith, who runs up the gut, gets across the 45, across midfield, and into Lobos territory. Picks up the first down to boot, a gain of 11 from the Pirates' own 42-yard line into the Lobos' 47.
Earlier in the season, this would be a setting where the Pirates would start running some tempo, but you got a freshman quarterback taking his first snaps of the season. Now it's kind of hard to run that tempo like you want to. I don't know how many snaps he got in practice this week, so they'll just stay with the traditional huddle-up offense.
Minute 20 left to play in the first quarter. It's a zone read keeper for Moore. Moore around his left guard is able to get across the 45 to the 35, down inside the 30 at the 28-yard line, and things looking pretty good for Moore. He's operating this offense like a vet.
Yeah, they were, but again, another mistake, a hold in there in the interior.
That will bring back that big gain, and a replay of first down coming up here. Might be 1st and 20, and this might it will, in fact, push the Pirates back into their own territory.
Yeah, number 85, big lineman for the Lobos. His shoulder pads came out of his jerseys. He got held so much in there, and it was two guys doing it, so a good gain comes back.
1st and 20, the ball on the Pirates' 47-yard line. Under a minute to play in the first quarter. It's 6-0. Pirates looking to add on to their lead. Moore will have a delayed handoff to Smith, and Smith isn't able to get out of the trenches as he is brought down on the play by Jalen Bussey, the defensive back, able to get into the backfield and stop Elijah Smith, and Smith is a little slow to get up.
Bussey wasn't fooled by any of the misdirection or the cross blocks or pull blocks or anything else that was thrown at him out there. He came in and blew that play up right off the bat.
Well, I assume the clock will start back up here, and the Pirates have the option to go ahead and let the first quarter come to an end. It is officially no gain on the play. 2nd and 20, the ball back at the 43-yard line, and it does look like the Pirates want to go ahead and run one more play here before the end of the quarter. It'll be Moore in the shotgun. Hands it up, fakes the handoff to Gonzalez, takes it himself, and tries to run up the middle, and he is tackled on the play by the big man, LeVay Terry, and only a gain out to the 46-yard line. That'll be the final play of the first quarter. The Pirates, with a pair of field goals, a 23-yarder and a 33-yarder, have a 6-0 lead. We'll go ahead and check in with our third member of the broadcast crew, Chuck Crazy, down on the sidelines. Chuck, how's it going? Chuck, if you could maybe face us a little bit. No, we're not picking you up.
Fans, another way to keep up with Southwestern athletics is
well, we'll have to check what's up with the sideline mic, as we'll use that a little later, but Chuck down there on the sidelines, we'll get to him eventually. And as we sit up here, Pirates having a lot of injury woes, especially at that crucial quarterback position. Still hold on to the lead, Kelly.
Yeah, it's been the story a lot of the season, some injuries here and there, but last week just a bunch of injuries. And like we mentioned earlier in the game, Southwestern was out 8 starters before the kickoff. Then Gilpin goes down. Now they're out 9 of their starters. So getting that offense consistently rolling is the challenge now for Southwestern.
Start of the second quarter, Pirates lead it 6-0, and with 15 fresh minutes until halftime, they're going to go ahead and stay with Moore out there in the shotgun. He has Elijah Smith behind him. Good to see him back in there. And Smith gets the handoff and is immediately hit in the backfield with the penetration. It's Jalen Howard, the linebacker, sniffs that one out and brings up 4th and way long. And there will have to be a punting unit brought out here by the Pirates.
That's the issue that you face whenever you're dealing with the quarterback issues like that, is those penalties and loss of yardage really limit what you can do, especially whenever you're not used to running that passing game like the new quarterback is.
Draytron Moody back to receive this kick from Contreras. Contreras punts it away, and it bounces at the 35, takes a Pirates roll across the 25, slowly moving to the 16, and a funny whiff of his hand to try and push it to the 15-yard line by Nicholas Smith, and he gets maybe another foot because of that little whiff of the arm, and it's down to the 11-yard line for the Pirates with 14-14 left to play in the second quarter. some deep field positioning, 89 yards between the Lobos line of scrimmage and the end zone.
The defense is going to have to do their work today for the Pirates, and so far they have. Lobos haven't been able to get a lot going, gained a little bit on their last drive, had their best drive last drive, but we'll see what the Lobos have in store now.
Johns under center will play action with Greer. Looks to his right, fires to his right, throwing deep down the field and just overthrows Moody, who had been able to get a step on the Southwestern defensive back, Damian Dawson, and that could have been 6 points, and I'm sure just half a stride away, and Moody might have been able to take that one 89 yards.
Yeah. The quarterback was standing in there, and he saw Moody come open out there on that route, and that's one of those where you can get a little excited, and that adrenaline dump that happens when you see him wide open like that can cause that little overthrow. It was almost there, just a step and a half behind on that one, but that could have been a big play for the Lobos. They'll wish they had that one back.
Clock stopped at 14:07, 2nd and 10, ball at the Lobos' own 11-yard line, and it'll be a handoff to Phoenix, who tries to turn the corner and is unable to do so, and a big tackle by Garrett Womack in the backfield will pin the Lobos at their own 5-yard line.
Nice job back there by Womack, Hayden Smith both getting in there and shutting that play down, trying to bounce it out there to the outside, and with the routes that the receivers ran, they had some room out there, but he just couldn't get past those first two defenders. They did a great job out there on the tackle. Good, solid tackle by the Southwestern defense.
Clock keeps moving at 13:40 to play until halftime, and Trey Johns will have to throw the ball here if they want to realistically pick up the first down the way the Pirates have been able to stop the run so far. It's Greer in the backfield and a timeout called by the Lobos, and so far, so good for the Pirates defense, pitching a shutout through a quarter in a couple minutes.
Yeah, and that's what the coaches knew was going to have to happen, because even with Gilpin in there, doesn't have a great deal of experience, but now especially you've got another new quarterback in there, so the defense knows they're going to have to step up and do what they've got to do, and they've got to be absolutely sound in how they're tackling, blocking, shedding those blocks in their coverage. We saw the Lobos had one wide open receiver on the previous play, weren't able to hit it, but you can't let those mistakes let the Lobos get right back in this football game.
We'd like to welcome all 185 listeners currently on board with us for the Pirates homecoming game in 2019. It's the Pirates leading the Lobos 6-0, and if you could do us a favor and hit like and subscribe, we are the official broadcast partner of all Southwestern football games, and we're happy you guys tuned in here as Trey Johns will be in the shotgun. He has Greer to his left in an offset pistol. A handoff to Greer. Greer able to get past the trenches and drags Hayden Smith for a couple yards before Smith officially makes the tackle at the 18-yard line, but he is short of the yards again. That brings up 4th down, and out comes the punting unit. Casieja and Brandenburg back deep to receive.
We've seen a couple of good, strong runs out of Greer right there, and he was able to shed 2 tackles before he got out into the defensive backfield and almost got that to a first down on a long 3rd down run, but Lobos will have to punt here.
Chad Cross will be the one who sends it away for the Lobos. He's already had a punt deflected today, and he will go ahead and send this one away. A booming punt, and backing up is Casieja. Casieja will run horizontally across the field to the 40-yard line looking for a block, gets it to lower his shoulder at the 45-yard line, and a solid return there for Casieja, making a little bit of something out of nothing, and the Pirates will start off at their own 45-yard line.
He got out there on his right side, and he was surrounded by red Lobo jerseys. He did a good job of gaining a couple of yards, but they did a good job covering that punt.
12:30 left to play in the second quarter, and the Pirates moving to a traditional huddle offense here with the backup quarterback, Hank Moore. Behind him, Elijah Smith trips to the left. A single receiver out in the right. That's Anthony Stevens. 1st and 10 from the 45. An option to the left, keeping it as Moore. And Moore is brought down after a gain of about half a yard. The tackle made by the Lobos, Lorenzo Fowler.
Good job by the Lobos of stretching that run out, not giving him any place to cut back. He was looking for a lane to cut back to his right, try to open up, but the Lobos stayed home where they were supposed to be. Did a good job of shutting that run down.
Been a defensive battle so far. A lot of run game going on here this early afternoon. Shaw in the backfield with Moore, along with Castilleja and Brandenburg. A handoff to Shaw, who tries to run up the middle and immediately hit in the backfield as he tried to get to the line of scrimmage. Credit the tackle to Sol Ross State's Shelby Lee Jr.
Again, now the Lobos are able to tighten up that defense. They can put 7 or 8 guys in the box because it's probably going to be running plays that Southwestern is going to have to revert to a bunch. So we'll see if they decide to try to open this up and give the young quarterback some throws and see if they can get him some positive yardage in that passing game.
3rd and 9, ball on the 46-yard line. Pirates in their own territory. Shaw and Brandenburg in the backfield with Moore, and it's a option here for Moore, and Moore is gobbled up by a slew of Lobos. No gain on the play as Moore is able to get back to the line of scrimmage. A 3-and-out here for the Pirates.
I wish we could talk to Chuck because I'd like to know what's going on down there with the quarterback situation right now, but some technical difficulties are keeping that from happening.
Well, let's give it a shot. Chuck, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We kind of got you a little bit. It's a little fuzzy, though.
Test.
We kind of got you. Unfortunately, not working, and then a false start will go ahead and back the Pirates up 5 yards on this punt. Chuck, go ahead.
Well, I think
Unfortunately, we are not picking up anything from the mic at the moment, so perhaps up here at halftime we'll have to get you some new batteries. If you want to go ahead and make your way up here whenever, Chuck, that would probably work out well, as that was also used for the Georgetown game last night. And then a penalty here on the Lobos will move back 5 yards, and the Pirates will be able to have a little bit better of a punting position as Moody is back deep to receive this one from Contreras. Contreras puts his foot into it after a step, almost has it deflected. A fair catch called for by Moody, and he'll go ahead and get the fair catch at the 13-yard line.
Looks like Gilpin's in a knee brace down there, so he may be done for the day. And I would guess at halftime the Southwestern coaches will regroup a little bit, have some conversations about how they want to make some adjustments. They've made a few adjustments, gone very heavily to the run with the new quarterback, but they haven't had much success in there because Sol Ross knows they're going to be running the football right now. So we'll see what kind of changes and adjustments they're able to make.
Wilton Greer is in the shotgun next to Trey Johns on 1st and 10, ball at the 13-yard line. A handoff to Greer, who tried to follow his right tackle, only gets about a yard and a half to the 14, maybe the 15-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd down.
This Southwestern defense plays really well. They're really disciplined. Prior to last week, they had only given up 1 touchdown on the season. Last week, I think they only gave up 2 touchdowns. A couple of the touchdowns that TLU was able to score were on defense.
Johns in the shotgun, 2nd and 8. The ball officially marked on the 15. It's a handoff to Greer, who goes around right end and is hit in the backfield by Hayden Smith, and a minimal gain of only about a yard and a half there.
Those 3 big guys up front for Southwestern are doing a good job of penetrating and causing those plays to blow up before they can get started in there. And it seems like almost every play that they're able to get some penetration from that line and really control that line of scrimmage down there. The Lobos are having a tough time on that offensive line, keeping the yellow jerseys out of that backfield.
3rd and 6, ball on the 17-yard line. Clock moving at 9 minutes left to play until halftime. Greer in the backfield with Trey Johns, the quarterback. Johns out of the shotgun, hands it off to Greer, who runs up the middle. He's wrapped up from behind and brought down. A solid tackle made by the player coming up limping for Southwestern. That is Major George, and hopefully George is okay as he forces the 4th down.
Good job there by Southwestern getting the ball back again, and they've got time to do something. They're going to have pretty good field position after this punt, but it's going to take some adjustments.
4th and 6, Cross will have to punt it away. He sends this one pretty deep as Castilleja calls for a fair catch at the 46-yard line, and that's where the Pirates will start this drive with 8:19 left to play in the second quarter and a 6-0 lead. And we look back at the previous drives. It's been hard to get the Pirates to, I don't even think they've really thrown a pass since Gilpin went out. So we're seeing some old school smash mouth football out there.
It's going to be interesting to see if they can adjust. And really their runs have been right at the teeth of the Lobos defense, so they may have to try those edges some.
It'll be Moore in the shotgun. Gonzalez to his right. He hands it off to Gonzalez, and Dawson Gonzalez able to get back to the line of scrimmage. A nice tackle made with the backfield penetration by Carter Bates.
Carl, I want to say hello to all those folks on YouTube that are joining us from beautiful, beautiful Alpine, Texas. I've got family all over Alpine out there. My dad is a Sol Ross graduate back a couple of 100 years ago, and shortly after the founding of Sol Ross University. He's going to throw something at me, but thanks for joining us, all you folks out there in Alpine.
2nd and 10 ball at the 46-yard line. The receiver split out wide, and it'll be a rollout to the right for Moore. Moore throws on the run and is unable to hit Brandenburg in stride, but that does open up the playbook and make the defense have to respect the threat of a pass now.
It does, and the throw was wasn't the best throw, but that first throw, you get it out of your system, and it was a high percentage throw where it's either going to be completed or the defender doesn't have a shot at making an interception on it. And I think they're really going to have to try a bunch of runs like that.
Clock stops at 7:34 left in the second quarter. It's Moore in the shotgun, Smith behind him. He hands it off to Smith on a turnaround, and Smith is hit at the line of scrimmage by a couple defenders, and it's stopped there on the play. I think the tackle will officially go to Jaden Wilson on the tackle, and the defensive end forces 4th down.
Nice job by the Lobo defense to be able to just stack in there, stay in there, and keep that run honest out there. You didn't have any success on that first throw by your new quarterback, and so now Southwestern is going to have to punt the football.
Contreras will punt it away. Waiting back deep is, I beg your pardon, it'll be Philip Keys punting it away, and waiting back is Moody. A wobbly kick here that bounces at the 23-yard line, takes a Pirate roll inside the 10 and stops it around the 7-yard line before it is down by the special teams. And 6:44 left to play in this defensive battle until halftime, and the Pirates with a 6-0 lead. Man, it's been an offensive struggle both ways so far.
It is. And then, we're 6:44 left in this half. Game kicked off right around 1 o'clock. It's taken only less than 45 minutes to be able to get this to this point in the game where we're almost at halftime. So with these run games like this, it's going to be a quick game.
It'll be Johns out of the shotgun, empty backfield, fires over to the right side, a completed pass. And as we were talking about a defensive struggle, it's a nice catch by Cross to move the chains for a pickup of 10.
I'm kind of surprised the Lobos haven't tried more of that. They've had some success early in the game. They've had receivers open, just missed them on their routes. And we'll see if with this time they're going a little hurry up and 5 wides now.
Johns in the shotgun. He'll try to make a defender miss. He does. Gets across the 20. Jumps over another defender. A flag comes in, and they officially mark his forward progress down as he was able to hurdle Josiah Minifield.
There were so many jerseys around where that flag was thrown. I didn't see exactly what was going on out there, but probably some sort of infraction on the block out there to try to spring the quarterback's run.
Let's go ahead and see what the laundry is about as the officials break out of their huddle. It's a holding that goes against the Lobos, and that'll back them up on a drive that's looking like they're trying to open up their playbook. They've gone 5 wide back-to-back times. Johns tried to do it with his feet that time.
Yeah, and the Lobos are trying to mix it up a little bit out there because they haven't had a great deal of success in that running game, and you got to try to spread that defense out some.
Johns in the shotgun, Greer behind him. He hands it off, and on the run, only able to get to the trenches and then brought down. I beg your pardon, that's actually Page, the running back, getting his touch, and maybe only a gain of half a yard out to the 9.5, maybe 10, where they spot it, and this keeps the clock moving at 5:37 left to play in the second quarter.
Sol Ross is only a block or two from being able to spring some of this stuff, but that Southwestern defensive line is able to maintain those blocks and stay where they need to be to shut down these plays.
5:23 left, dropping back, a pump fake by Johns, rolling across the goal line, and he hits a man, but he is immediately dropped as the completed pass goes to DeAndre Burgeon, but he was unable to get to the yard to gain, and he'll be well behind the sticks, actually, and this will bring up a long third down.
Pump fake out there was trying to free up a long pass route, but Peyton Vaughn did a good job of not buying the fake and letting his other guys do what they're supposed to do out there. So they took the short route, tried to gain a little something out of it. Wasn't very successful because the rest of the defensive backs and one of the linemen were able to get out there and shut that play down. So a long third down here for the Lobos.
Johns on 3rd and 18 will hand it off to Greer, tries to go around the left end, and he is met there at the trenches. The stop made by Crawford brings up 4th down, and 4:29 left to play in the second quarter. I think they're going to go ahead and rule a Pirates timeout here to stop the clock, and that's their first charge timeout of the half. And we'll keep it right here, talk about things as the Pirates trying to score at least one more. They've been getting pretty decent field position, but due to the injuries at quarterback, they haven't been throwing too much. But Moore did go ahead and show a little opportunity to throw. And you know what? We have an opportunity to test out our sideline, Mike. We have Chuck up here in the booth. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Chuck, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I can't tell if it's working.
It is, yeah. We got you a little bit.
Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and check it a little later here. If you can go ahead and head on down, maybe we'll be able to get Coach Austin before the end of the half. And, yeah, we'll go ahead and hopefully get that sideline mic working here as it'll be punted away by Cross. Casilleja and Brandenburg back deep to receive this punt, waiting just behind the midfield line. And this one will be fair caught by Casilleja, and they rule it right at midfield is where the Pirates will take over with 4:25 left to play into the first half. It's a 6-0 lead. Southwestern scoring in the first quarter on a 23-yard field goal and a 33-yard field goal. Here they are coming back out with essentially their 4th-string quarterback in Hank Moore, the freshman out of Stephenville, being thrown into the fire here, a little baptism by fire, and out of the huddle, the Pirates break.
Yeah, you got to wonder what Coach Austin and Tom Ross, the offensive coordinator, are going to pull out of their hats to try to break this up a little bit.
It's an end around to Casilleja. Casilleja tries to stretch it around the 45, and he's shoved out of bounds short of the 40 as he was pushed out there by LeVay Terry, and that's one way to mix it up with the end-around stretch.
It is, and that helps stretch that defense out a little bit. I was wondering if they were going to start some of that misdirection back because they'd been attacking the middle of the Lobos defensive line without much success, and that's how you're going to have to loosen them up since the passing game's not working.
It was a gain of 8, 2nd and 2 here. Ball on the 42-yard line of the Lobos, and Moore with a new running back in the backfield will go ahead and hand it off. He's going to shift his feet to the right side of the field and very dangerously extends his arm out to the 35. He's given to the 35, and a nice run there by the running back who usually plays receiver, Zachary Zamora.
Was that Zamora or was that Jeremy Richardson?
Well,
number 20?
Jeremy Richardson. Yeah, Jeremy Richardson will be the yeah, you're right, number 20. Jeremy Richardson, the running back there, gets his first shot. The freshman backfield picking up the first down here. The clock keeps moving here. 3:20 left to play in the second quarter. It's Shaw in the backfield here with Hank Moore, and Moore will keep it on the option, and he has brought down the swift feet of the big man Jadon Wilson brings him down for a tackle for a loss of about 3 yards.
Good job out there by the Lobos defense in containing that option out there. Number 21 was out there on the edge, and he stayed with his guy. Quarterback had nowhere to run, nothing to do with the football. So good job by the Lobos defense.
Moore decides to use a counter play, goes to the left side, has room across the 30, down the left sideline to the 25, and he is shoved late at the 20. The line judge doesn't see that late push, and no flag comes in, but a first down picked up. Well, there's a flag as came in from the other side of the field, and I think there will be 15 yards tacked on to the end of this run.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Woo.
The fans who saw that late hit are mad that the holding will be there, so the penalties don't offset, and tough break for the Pirates as Moore gets a positive gain with his feet on what looked like it could have been potentially a busted play where he'd had to improvise. Instead, the ball moved back to the 40-yard line, the yard to gain the 25, 2nd and 15 here.
I'm kind of surprised there wasn't a flag thrown out there because he was even past the white of the real wide sideline out there when he got shoved, but no call.
Shaw in the backfield with Moore. Moore will go around left end, tries to evade a tackler, unable to do so, but he loses a yard as the tackle was made by Carter Bates, the strong safety coming in, getting the stop for the Lobos.
They tried that counter play again, which had some success on the previous play, but it was shut down that time. Fool me once, shame on me. Shame on you, fool me twice. There was no fooling the right side of that Lobos defense on that counter.
Minute 44 left to play into the first half. Pirates with a 6-0 lead, trying to move the football here on 3rd and 16 from the Lobos' 41-yard line. Moore running the option, decides to take it back the other way, but he gets wrapped up and brought down by Lorenzo Fowler, and he'll be well short of the yard to gain by a solid 17 yards, and that'll probably bring out the punting unit here for, well, looks like Hank Moore is going to stay out there on the field for 4th down, and interesting decision here as they do have both of their timeouts left, and I suppose instead of pinning them deep, the way the defense has been playing, you might as well go for it to try and add another score here before the end of the half.
With the Lobos not having much success on the offensive side of the ball, this is an interesting call here.
And they will burn a timeout here to discuss it a little further. And as we go ahead and check in with our sideline reporter, Chuck Cracy. Chuck, how you doing down there?
Also,
Chuck, go ahead and give us one more check here.
test.
Hey, I think we got it. Maybe.
So hopefully I can find that sweet spot. It looks like, the injury bug.
Yeah, having a little trouble finding that sweet spot. We'll go ahead and do a test a little later here, hopefully to get Joe Austin and try and figure out how to fix our crowd mic. Yeah, I think we got you a little bit there.
Right here.
Yeah.
Right here. You got me?
Yep.
Okay, I think this is the spot. The injury bug continues to bite the Pirates. The defense and special teams have stepped up, but as Kelly mentioned earlier, the Lobos are really one block away from breaking some of these runs, and with a 6-point lead, it's precarious, and so tension's fairly high down here on the sideline.
It will be Philip Keys kicking it away. Thank you very much, as this one will take a bounce at the 25 and then be picked up. A heads-up play right there by Isaiah Jacobs to try and return it. He maybe only saves his team about half a yard depending on where that ball would have stopped, but he does take it past the 25-yard line to the 28, and not a bad field position, all things considered, since the last drive started at the 9 with 41 seconds left. The Lobos trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time.
I think both these teams are going to be satisfied with the 6-0 score. Satisfied may be the wrong word, but I think they're going to kneel this ball, get out of here, go to the second half. Both teams regroup. Neither one is excessively far away from some success here, but we'll see what the Lobos do.
Trey Johnson's 2 men in motion here with Greer behind him. Johns will hand it off to Greer, who finds a big hole up the middle, and then he tries the ball over. Offender does, gets across the 35, and a big hit laid on Peyton Vaughn will be the end of a run to the 35-yard line, just short of the yard to gain, I believe. In fact, they're going to mark him a little shorter than the 35, down at the 33. But, man, Peyton Vaughn got a licking.
He did. Greer's listed as 5'6", 182, but, man, he runs strong. And when the cornerback broke down to make that tackle, there was no fear there. Greer just lowered the boom on him, and that was not a very generous spot.
No, as it looked to me like it should have been a first down. The Pirates catch a little bit of a break. The Lobos used their second to last timeout. They have one remaining. The Pirates have two. It'll be 2nd and 2, ball on the 33-yard line. Johns in the shotgun. Greer behind him. A handoff to Greer as he tries to stretch it around the right end. He picks up the first down and falls to the 40-yard line as he was swiped at by Peyton Ludeman, and the Pirates will have the clock stopped on them again with the final timeout by the Lobos. And while the run game is working as well as it has the entire first half for Sul Ross State, it's maybe a case of too little too late here with 24 seconds left to play and their last timeout burned.
Greer hasn't had a lot of success in this half, but, boy, when he can get those wheels going, he is fast, strong runner out there. So if those linemen can give him just a couple of seconds to get some direction going to these runs, that could be dangerous for the Southwestern defense.
24 seconds left between the Pirates and halftime here as the defense takes the field following the timeout. It'll be Trey Johns in the shotgun, Greer behind him. Two receivers lined up to the left side and a fullback lined up as the wing T on the right side. And they move 2 men in motion from the right side to the left for blocking purposes. A handoff to Greer, who follows those blockers on the left side, and he's able to fight forward to about the 45-yard line. Ball comes loose after the play, but it was already whistled dead as Rosario Hernandez was the one who picks it up. And an injury on the field for the Pirates coming at a bad time here as the clock stops with 8 seconds left to go in the first half.
That injury happened after the play was dead when they were trying to run the ball down the field. I didn't see exactly what happened with number 24's ankle, but he's holding that left ankle, and it was well after the play was blown dead.
So an unfortunate situation there as he's being tended to, and the clock will start back up with 8 seconds left for the Lobos, who get sort of a pseudo timeout due to the Pirates injury timeout. It'll be 2nd and 5, ball on the Lobos' own 44-yard line, and coming off of the field with his own power is Donovan Conley. So Conley eager to get off so his defense can go ahead and get this into the locker rooms with the score being 6-0 with 8 seconds left and it being 2nd and 5. This might be a time for a quick pass to try and surprise the Pirates offense, or defense rather.
Yeah, that clock should start right when the referee gives the signal. Since it was a run play, the clock would have started anyhow.
The officials talking something over.
Should be a 10-second runoff unless...
Well, it was the Pirates who had an injury.
Right.
So I get the feeling that they start it right here. The referee has to give his go-ahead. He's going to say something real quick, I think, before we get the play going. Well, he's having a little trouble with his mic as well, so perhaps there's a high radio frequency going on out here on the field, messing up the microphones on the field. And 8 seconds left. They do go ahead and give this go-ahead to start the play. The clock doesn't start, which hurts the Pirates here. 2nd and 5 from the 44. It's a drop-back pass, and rolling out, just throwing it away is Johns, as he was pressured in the backfield by Grant Mitchell and Garrett Womack. Also in there on the hurry-up for Southwestern was Nicholas Smith. The flag on the play in the area of a hold. That might go ahead and result in that 10-second runoff and be the end of the first half.
Yeah, and it's also going to be intentional grounding on the quarterback because although he was outside of the pocket, he did not get the ball past the line of scrimmage.
Holding on that field is deep line. Intentional grounding, offense. That field is accepted by rule. Also, a loss of down.
They rule it a loss of down. I thought there would be a 10-second runoff. I think that's what Coach Joe Austin's saying.
End of the quarter.
Yeah, that'll be the end of the second quarter. So the Pirates, a pair field goal lead here, 6-0 over the Lobos, and we'll go ahead and have Chuck's mic turned on, and he's going to maybe try and catch up with Joe Austin. Yeah, Joe, go ahead and just face us here as you try and track down Coach Austin.
Your Southwestern Pirates.
He said never mind.
No, I suppose that means Joe Austin will not be doing the halftime interview. He'll go ahead and let Chuck take off the half here, and we'll take the rest of the half off. Well, we'll take the half off as well as soon as I get your closing thoughts on the first half, Kelly.
It's you started off so well. If you're Southwestern, you had some mistakes that shut down some drives, but you were moving the ball. And then your third quarterback goes out. Now you're on your fourth quarterback right now. So it would be really interesting to hear what the coaches say in that locker room for the Lobos. The frustration is you're not able to get anything going on the offense. You're just a block or two here or there from springing your really speedy back, but you just can't get that movement in. So there's going to be some frustration on the offensive side of the ball. Defensive sides of both teams are doing really well in this first half. So it'll be interesting to see what the stats say has happened in this first half. Again, Southwestern started off well, but the injury to their starting quarterback just changes everything for them.
Exactly, as Landry Gilpin is the third different starting quarterback through the 4 games, the 3.5 that have gone on here. The Pirates with a 6-0 lead at the halftime break. We'll go ahead and step aside here and be back with the start of the second half in about 19.5 minutes here on Southwestern's Homecoming on SHN Sports. Well, it looks like a little bit of impatience will rule the day here, and the Pirates and the Lobos will start the second half a minute and a half early, take the field with still 1 minute 25 seconds left to play, left in halftime, but with no halftime shows, no homecoming court, nothing of that nature, we will go ahead and get the kickoff here. The first kickoff of the game from the Lobos, as it'll be sent away by Oswaldo Luna, back deep to receive David Brandenburg and Austin Castilla. The kick from the 35 is an end-over-end one that'll be taken by Castilla at the 10. Goes down the left hash mark across the 20. The 25-30 finds space down at 35 and gets pushed out of bounds at the 37-38 yard line. And a good return there by Castilleja will set up solid field positioning for a struggling Pirates offense down to the quarterback, the fourth quarterback of the season. A flag on the play, I guess, will be, I didn't quite catch what it was, but goes against the kicking team, the Lobos, and we'll go ahead and move the ball another 5 yards forward, added on at the end of the run.
It was an offsides on the kicking team. One of their guys left the line a little bit early.
Yeah, they'll mark it off from the 38 where it started off. So happy you guys joined us for the start of the third quarter. The Pirates scoring in the first quarter on a 23-yard and then a 33-yard field goal. Will Earps, the player of the game so far, as he has kicked through the only points so far of the game. It's Hank Moore, the quarterback, in the shotgun. Right behind him is Elijah Smith. Two receivers on both sides from the 43-yard line. It's 1st and 10. It's an option play. A pitch out to Smith. Smith stretches out to the 45, the 50. Flags come in as he crosses the 45 and goes out of bounds. These flags in the area of a hold, and it looks like every official on that side of the field saw it.
Yeah, they did, and again, it's number 32 for the Lobos getting his shoulder pads pulled out from underneath his jersey on a big hold out there on the edge. There was a good block out there to spring that run, but
72 offense. The penalty will be enforced from the 45-yard line. Remains first down.
good block out there on the edge to spring that, but big number 72, the big offensive lineman, caught in the hold. Thomas Zinnick.
Yes, Thomas Zinnick, and here comes a long first down. The ball back to the 35-yard line. The yard to gain the Lobos 47. Castilla goes in motion, gets it on an end around, finds a block and cuts through it to the 40-yard line, and the line officially spotted at the 41.
They're having more success out on the corners. They still got to attack that middle and keep them honest, but they're having some more success out there on the corners. And really those short passes that they'll attempt every once in a while are really an extension of doing just that, sending somebody wide out to the edges.
Well, that makes this a 2nd and 12. Ball in the 41, Southwestern in their own territory. 14 minutes to play in the third quarter. Two receivers on both sides. It's Elijah Smith behind Hank Moore. Moore running the option, and he is shoved down as there was immediate pressure in the backfield, and a tackle goes to the defensive end, Lorenzo Fowler.
Fowler got in there really quickly on that. Actually made the play from behind because he was in pursuit of the running back from the time he got the ball, so the Lobos were able to shut that run down. And this is what happens whenever you have those penalties in there that end a successful play and drive you farther back.
Loss of 3 on the play. It's Shaw in the backfield with Moore. Two receivers on both sides. 3rd and 15 from the 38. It's a handoff to Brandenburg. Brandenburg across the 40 to the 45. Hit hard right there at the 45 for a gain of about 6 or 7 yards. But the tackle made by Eduardo Garcia, the big defensive lineman, 6'2", 242 freshman from Garland, Texas, puts it into that drive.
You'd say you'd take 7 yards on a run every time, but when you're 3rd and 15 and don't have very little, if any, passing game available to you, then these are the results, and the ball keeps getting punted back and forth between these two teams.
Drayton Moody back deep to receive this punt away from Keys. Keys will send it away just in front of the 35. He spins as he hits the deck. This one takes a Pirate roll from the 30 out of bounds at the 25-yard line, and 12:30 left to play in the third quarter rather, and the first offensive possession for the Lobos in the second half coming up.
So we'll see what adjustments they made. Again, Southwestern had some success on their first run, but penalties, mistakes, drive them back and really shut down the drive. So we'll see if the Lobos can get something generated based on the changes that they were able to make at the half.
The Lobos unable to put up anything in the first half. In fact, as far as I know, they didn't even get across midfield, except maybe on one drive. And here they are trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time. 12:30 left to play into the third quarter. It's a play action. Johns fires it across the middle. It's deflected by Josiah Minifield. Intended receiver on the play was Blair Orr, and that brings up 2nd and 10.
Folks, we apologize for some of the camera issues that are going on right now. We're not the only ones that are having technical difficulties. There's all kinds of weird stuff happening up here in the press box at the Georgetown Independent School District Athletic Complex. So we'll see if we can get those fixed or whatever's happening up here, see if we can get that corrected. But we apologize for those issues right now.
Johns in the pistol. Behind him is Greer. He hands it off to Greer. He runs around right and finds a room across the 30, the 45-40. Looking down midfield at the 45 and the 30, and he's pushed out of bounds finally by Damian Dawson. And as we talked about, the Lobos having tough luck getting across midfield, get their biggest play of the game, flipping the field to the Pirates' 25-yard line.
And that was the block that Greer needed that we've talked about most of the game, where they've only been 1 or 2 blocks away from being able to spring something. And they have their most successful play right there on that, and they got the blocks that they needed out there for Greer to be able to hit that outside edge.
It'll be Phoenix, the tailback now, as Johns is in the pistol. 1st and 10, ball at the 25-yard line in Pirate territory. Handoff to Phoenix. Phoenix shuffles his feet at the 25 and lowers his shoulder pads into the defense at the 24-yard line. That's where his forward progress is stopped. And clock keeps moving here. 11:33 left to play in the third quarter.
Some success now for the Lobos. Their first trip into SU territory in this game, and by far their deepest penetration down here. So we'll see if they can continue their success, or if the Pirate defense can step up and stop this drive.
Phoenix next to Johns in the shotgun, 2nd and 9 from the 24. It's a zone read. Keeping it will be Johns. He's under pressure, hit as he throws, fires for the end zone, and it is bounced off of the intended receiver, Moore. Minifield will get hit for a pass interference here, though, and let's see. The officials are going to talk it over, but I think that's what they're going to call, and Minifield is pointing the other way to say that it goes against the Lobos. Let's see what the officials saw.
The Southwestern players were clapping.
And that will go ahead and go against the Lobos. Yeah. There's some strong radio waves or frequencies going on here at the field, causing everybody's technology to kind of mess up a little bit here, as we didn't quite catch what that was from the voice of the referees, as that moves the ball back to the Southwestern 40-yard line, making this a very long 2nd down. They move it to the 41, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, it's pass interference on the receiver down there in the end zone while that ball was in the air. So
Johns, quick throw out to the right side off of the hands of Drachon Moody, and it's incomplete. 3rd down. 3rd and 24 here with 11 minutes left in the third as the clock stops on the incomplete.
Lobos are being bitten by the same bug that Southwestern's been bitten by, and mistakes are shutting down drives.
Phoenix moves over to the right at Johns in the backfield. Johns out of the shotgun. 3rd and 24 from the 39. Dropping back is Johns. Scans to the left, fires to the right, and he is hit as he makes the catch. Pulling it down is Moody and makes this a 4th and manageable in a situation that I imagine the Lobos are going to go for it, as that would be a tough field goal from the 22-yard line.
Great concentration by Moody out there on the edge. Did a fantastic job of keeping that ball even after taking a big hit.
So a 39-yard field goal attempt will be passed up to go for it on 4th and 7. Ball on the 22-yard line. Clock moving at 10:20 left to play in the third. The defense is hearing it from the crowd. Man goes in motion under center. Johns, play action, drops back for a pass, fires to the left sideline, overthrows his intended receiver, and that will be a turnover on down. Southwestern will take over at the 22-yard line.
Big hit back there right after he released the football, and he wasn't able to get his feet set under him because he had some pressure on him. Overthrew the receiver back there. So, again, a mistake by the Lobos was more of a factor in that, in stopping that drive on that pass interference. But both teams are being bitten by that on offense, as their own mistakes are really shutting down their own drives.
So 1st and 10 for the Pirates. Ball at their own 22-yard line as they hold on to a 6-0 lead. Hank Moore in the shotgun. Elijah Smith behind him. Brandenburg, the single receiver, on the left side. 3 receivers on the right side. And a timeout will have to be burned here. But, nope, it'll be a delay of game, actually, I think.
30-second timeout call.
Oh, they do go ahead and get the timeout, and Coach Joe Austin cannot be happy about that, as Southwestern had personnel issues and a receiver was not able to come in time.
Again, the mistakes that each offense is making have just got to be wearing the coaches out. They got to be so frustrated by that, because there have been drives. Now the Lobos had their best drive, deepest penetration into Southwestern territory, stopped by mistakes. Southwestern, their drives have been stopped by mistakes, so it's really got to be frustrating for both these coaching staffs.
I'm sure Coach Joe Austin didn't want to burn a timeout to save 5 yards on the second drive of the second half. Here it's 10:08 left to play in the third quarter. Pirates lead it 6-0. Moore in the shotgun. Elijah Smith behind him. 2 receivers on both sides. 1st and 10 from 22. It's an option play. Smith gets it on the option across the 25. Hit hard by Jacobs before he gets to the 30. But a solid gain of about 5 yards on first down.
Nice run out there to the edge, and I think that's where Southwestern is just going to have to keep pounding, is those edges. Every once in a while maybe attack the middle of the line just to keep those linebackers at home and keep them honest, but the edge is where they're having their success, if they're having any at all.
Shaw in the backfield with Moore in the shotgun. 2 receivers on both sides. Castiella goes in motion, gets it on the end around. He's pressured in the backfield. He's brought down. A flag comes in during that hit, and that's usually in the area of a hold, and they go ahead and check the referee to the sideline, and that will be what the foul is. It's declined, and that brings up 3rd down and the loss of yard back to the original line of scrimmage, the 22.
Sure does take your options away. And, you know, you had a 2nd and 5 and a hold, tackle for a loss back there, 3rd and 10, or if the penalty is taken, then it's going to be 2nd and 15.
Clock starts up again here at 9:22 left to play in the third quarter. 3rd down, 10 to go. Ball on the 22-yard line. Moore in the shotgun. Will follow a blocker around the left end, but he is hit by the man entering the backfield, Jalen Howard. The linebacker gets the stop, and that brings up 4th down. Out comes the Southwestern punting unit.
These kickers are going to get exhausted before this game is done, because they're both having to kick a lot. There's not a huge wind blowing here. I imagine all the players and coaching staff and Chuck Cracy and our guys on the sideline wish there was, but it is these punters are getting their workouts in today.
Moody's back deep to receive from Keys. Said that a few times today. Here is Philip Keys, sends this one away. It's a spiraling punt that Moody takes to the 40-yard line, and he is stopped right there. Great defensive field coverage there for the Pirates by J.J. Slack, who gets the nice ankle tackle and keeps Moody from going where he needs to go.
And Moody saved the Lobos 10 or 15 yards because that ball was set up to really roll well for the Pirates. But I think it was a good decision to catch that punt. We've seen Southwestern get some very favorable rolls on some of these punts today, so it's a good choice by Moody to hang on to that football and save some yardage there.
8:29 to play in the third quarter. Pirates lead at 6-0. Lobos back on the offensive side of the ball. Johns sends Moody in motion, hands it off to Greer, who tries to go around right in, but he is stood up. A flag comes in on the play as Josiah Minifield gets the stop and a tackle for a loss behind the chains. Let's see what the flag's about.
It's going to be a hold. I saw 3 holds. And I know the referee saw at least 1. So
I assume this will be a flag that they take. So, yeah, it will be a replay of first down with the ball moving back to the 30-yard line.
These referees may need rotator cuff surgery with all the throws they're having to make today, too, or they're choosing to make.
I suppose that is always a choice.
There'll be some ice packs on some arms.
It's 8:14 left to play in the third as the clock keeps moving here. Johns in the shotgun. Greer to his left on 1st and 20. A pass out to the right side. It's a completed pass. Maybe only a yard picked up there by Logan Schnotz. And the tight end listed at 6'4", 140. Goes ahead and moves the line of scrimmage a yard forward.
Again, not much success out there for either offense right now, and then the penalties just back you up and really take away options that you have that might have been effective. A 7-yard gain here is radically different on 2nd and 20 than 1st and 10.
Zone read here. Johns keeps it, fires it out in the flats for his screen to Moody, and Moody is wrapped up the ankles by Minifield and then shoved out of bounds for a slight gain. And it looks like Minifield might be a little slow to get up here as he's still sitting down at the 30-yard line. Stops the clock at 7:09 in the third quarter, and Pirates could ill afford to lose Josiah Minifield, one of their best covering corners.
It's I don't even know how many times this season we at SHN Sports have said those words that there's a Pirate injured on the field. It is just, that injury bug is just bitten Southwestern so badly this year.
Well, with 7:09 left to play in the third quarter, a 6-0 lead by the Pirates. We're going to go ahead and step aside here on SHN and let Josiah Minifield be tended to. We'll be back in a moment on SHN Sports. .709 left to play in the third quarter, and Josiah Minifield will walk off the field under his own power. And as soon as he gets to the sidelines, play can resume here. It'll be 3rd down and 17. Ball on the Lobos' own 33-yard line, as last series they were able to get down inside the 25, went for it on 4th down, and a turnover on downs. Let the Pirates take over. Here the Lobos trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time this afternoon. We'll have instructions and be ready to go. Johnson the shotgun. Drops back, throws out to the left side, caught by Moody. Moody able to evade a couple tackles and then is brought down by a couple defenders by the Pirates. Led on the charge there by Jules Williams. And that'll bring up 4th down, and out comes Castilleja and Brandenburg to receive the punt from Cross, which we've said that a few times this afternoon as well.
We have, and these special teams guys are really getting some workouts out there. The Southwestern offense had their success in the first quarter before the injury, and then now any success that Sol Ross has had has been minimal in this quarter.
Cross sends this one end over end, and it'll be a fair catch called for by Brandenburg at around the 17-yard line, and that's where the Pirates will start this drive with 6:16 left to play in the third quarter. And I imagine here it's been a interesting first game for Hank Moore, who is all of a sudden on the depth chart and getting a little baptism by fire as Landry Gilpin was injured in the first quarter. He's coming out here to try and help out his offense get more points on the scoreboard. 1st and 10 ball on the 17-yard line. It's a handoff. Running up the middle is Eli Smith, and Smith able to pick up a couple yards to the 19-yard line.
It's like a heavyweight boxing match where you got two guys that are just tapping on each other, waiting for somebody to make a mistake and land a big punch.
3 men in the backfield for Moore as he has Elijah Smith behind him. Smith gets the handoff, runs up the gut, and just gets past the trenches to the 23-yard line. And that'll bring up 3rd and short here, as it'll be 3rd and 4 for the Pirates. The clock keeps moving. 5:30 left to play in the third.
First 2 plays of this drive, Southwestern's trying to pound that middle. We'll see if they pop something to the outside now.
Everybody in tight here on this formation. 3rd and 4 from the 23-yard line. A handoff to Smith yet again, and Smith is hit at the line of scrimmage and maybe even backed up a yard, as it was Corey McMahon who came in and delivered the hit. Brings up 4th down.
We're going to have a punt.
And we also have an injury on the field. McMahon, who delivered the hit, slow to get up, and the clock stops at 4:53 to play here in the third quarter. And while McMahon is being tended to, we like to welcome all 209 of you tuning in here, whether you're a Lobos fan or a Pirates fan. Thank you guys for watching in here on SHN Sports. If you like the broadcast, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to follow more, SHN Sports is all over the country doing all sorts of broadcasting. Keep up with us, hitting that subscribe button. And McMahon able to get off of the field. Moody back deep to receive the punt from Keys. And on 4th and 1, this one will be off of the edge of the foot and bounce at the 45-yard line. Take a Lobos bounce near the 43, and I think they go ahead and officially mark at the 44, and starting in plus territory will be Sul Ross State.
18-yard punt right there, and that's one of the mistakes that we were talking about earlier. You wait for somebody to make a mistake and do something, try to take advantage of that one mistake. And, you know, although there hasn't been much success for Sul Ross on the offensive side of the ball, one big run like Greer had on the last possession puts him in the end zone and gives Sul Ross the lead.
Exactly. It was such a close game here. The Lobos are a touchdown away from not scoring at all in the afternoon to taking a lead, or at least tying it up. 1st and 10 for Johns as he trots back on out to the field. He's under center from the 44-yard line. A toss out, and then it's a reverse, a double reverse, and a flea flicker pass deep down the field. He has a man into the end zone. Touchdown, Sul Ross State. Coming down with it is Moody, and Moody gets a 44-yard touchdown that ties this ball game up with 4:30 left to play in the third.
There it was. That one big play that you needed. 2 fighters going at it, just little chops, but we got a flag on the play. Maybe a celebration.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the scoring team, which means that this one will not be taken off as far as I can tell, but it will be added on to the point after attempt, making this an uncertain point after, I suppose. They're talking about it right now.
Probably assessed on the kick.
Well, it looked like
if it was after the play.
Yeah, it looked like Sul Ross was ready to accept it here on the point after attempt. We're tied up at 6 either way, I would assume. celebration.
Number 2 of the scoring team. The penalty will be forced on the try.
That goes against Wilton Greer, the running back, who was part of that double reverse flea flicker that scored the 44-yard touchdown. And that makes this a difficult point after attempt for Kevin Martinez. Martinez getting his first shot. This one will be from the 25-yard line. Martinez has an end-over-end kick that is through the uprights and good. And Sol Ross State takes a 7-0 lead off of one of the better trick plays you'll see. A double reverse that goes ahead and puts them in the end zone. Lobos up 7-6. And you were talking about it, a heavyweight match. That was a haymaker.
It was. They landed a big punch right there, and now Southwestern's the ones that are on their heels. And, again, the lack of production they've had on that offense right now has got to be concerning for the coaching staff. So see what they can dig out of the bag of tricks. But great play by Sol Ross. It's that big play that you've been looking for, and they got it. Greer had one earlier, big run, but no points on that drive. But all it took was one big play right there, and the cornerback to bite on the reverse and the fake, and now the Lobos lead.
Castilleja and Brandenburg back deep around the 10-yard line to receive this ensuing kickoff. It'll be sent away by Luna, as Waldo Luna, who is the kickoff kicker but not the point after attempt kicker, goes ahead and sends this one high and short. Castilleja rushing up to get it at the 20-yard line, takes it across the 25 and is pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line. A nice shove will go ahead and be where they started off, as Caden Frigia was the one who pushed him out of bounds at the 30. 4:27 left to play in the third quarter. Pirates scoring off of a pair of field goals in the first quarter. 4:27 left to play in the third quarter. Pirates scoring off of a pair of field goals into the first quarter. Find themselves trailing for the first time this afternoon.
The Pirates don't want to panic here. They can stay in that running game, but they've got to cut out the mistakes so they're not having longer drives.
More in the shotgun. Behind him is Elijah Smith on 1st and 10 from the 30s. Going to be Moore keeping it, lowering his shoulder to the 33-yard line. Gain of 3 on first down.
Gain of 3 on the play.
The tackle was made by Eduardo Garcia.
Good run by Moore out there, but he just doesn't have the speed that Gilpin has and the ability to break through some of those holes that are there, but makes it tough.
2nd and 7, ball on the 33-yard line, under 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. It's Moore in the shotgun. Smith behind him in the pistol formation. Option here. It's Smith who gets it, and then he gets undercut at the 30-yard line, falls forward for a loss of 1. The tackle made by Carter Bates, the safety coming in, making the stop.
Great job by Bates out there on the edge, coming in and just cutting the legs out from underneath the running back and shutting that play down. No gain. Again, 3rd and long for the Pirates, and that's really tough when all you've got in your arsenal is running game.
3rd and 8 from the 32-yard line. The huddle breaks. 3:20 left to play in the third quarter. Trips right. Single receiver to the left. Out of the shotgun, Moore. He is Shaw to his left. From the left hash mark, it'll be a pass here by Moore. He's under pressure, and he is sacked. Dropped in the backfield, pressuring him and then bringing him down is Shelby Lee Jr., the defensive lineman. Gets into the backfield and is a tackle for loss that'll bring out the punting unit.
Good quick rush in from the left side of the offense, right side of the defense. Shuts the drive down. You see a lot of confidence in those Lobos over there on the opposite side. They've got a good crowd came with them to the game, more than you would typically expect for a drive that long, but good following, and the Lobo fans and the team are really fired up right now.
Philip Keys will punt this one away from around the 15-yard line. Moody will not get a chance to return this one. It is blocked and then recovered, and scoring for the Sol Ross State Lobos, Micah Garcia, the defensive back playing special teams, scoops and scores, and that will increase the Lobos' lead here with 2:20 left to play in the third quarter.
They've been getting close on almost every punt, and you just had the feeling that they were going to get to one, and they just did. And now this game is in. The Pirates are in trouble.
The Lobos scoring their second touchdown of the third quarter, take a 13-6 lead for the moment before the point after attempt. It'll be Kevin Martinez here kicking the point after. The hold by Cross. The kick is through the uprights and good. 2:20 left to play in the third quarter. The Lobos 14, the Pirates 6, and we'll keep it right here. Kelly, a tough situation for the Pirates as they have had a little bit of trouble moving the football since Landry Gilpin left with an injury. It looks like he will not return, and Hank Moore getting his first real playing time as a freshman out of Stephenville. They might have to open the playbook up for him a little bit, and considering he's the fourth quarterback that Southwestern has seen here in 4 games, you have to wonder how much of the playbook he's really even practiced with all of these first-string guys.
Oh, the Lobos are able to just load the box and just completely attack the run because they've had very little threat with the passing game. And they're able to leave their corners out there on an island with the receivers because the threat for the passing game is very minimal. So we'll see if something changes up.
Luna kicks this one deep, and Castilleja will field it at the 5 in the middle of the field, across the 15. Looks for blocking at the 20, finds space on the 25, cuts back to the 30, the 35-40. He's shoved out of bounds by Luna, who was able to catch up there and angle him out. 2:10 left to play, and maybe that special teams return out to the 40-yard line will spark something for this offense.
You're looking for a spark, and now the offense has to. Coach Austin's goal now, aim now, purpose now is to keep these guys focused, keep their heads up. And, you know, you're one score and a 2-point conversion from tying this game up, so it's far from over. We're still in the third quarter, and the Pirates have to get something going, but they can be patient right now. It's not panic mode yet.
A lot of ball game left here. 1st and 10. Southwestern at their own 40-yard line, and it's a screen pass out to Brandenburg. Brandenburg with a double pass, has it intercepted. It's taken at the 50, trying to take it to the other side of the field across the 45 to the 40, and he is dropped down there at the 40-yard line. Coming up with the interception, Corey McMahon, who came back on the field from an injury earlier, and he goes ahead and brings in a big play that keeps this Sol Ross momentum up as the failed double pass doesn't work for the Pirates.
I was watching that Lobos backfield on that play, and he was watching that play develop the entire time and was just in a perfect position to jump up and intercept that ball. It was a great play by him.
1:55 left to play in the third quarter. You mentioned it, a lot of time left here in this ball game, but really finding their rhythm on all 3 phases of the ball are the Lobos. They're 1-3 on the year, and they're really trying to pick up their pace as they don't want to fall behind too much in the column.
Not at this point in the season. I mean, you're starting to get into the meat of the schedule now with the conference games, and the separation will begin around this time of the season. And glad to see that young man get up and walk off the field on his own power, in a little bit of pain, but hopefully he'll be okay and get back in the football game. But the Pirates are leaning on their defense big now, and the Lobos have just a ton of confidence right now, so they may open up their passing game.
Greer is the tailback for Trey Johns under center. 1st and 10 from the 40. It's a flea flicker again. Johns fires it deep down the middle of the field, and a pass interference will be the result here. A couple flags come flying in as the intended receiver, Moody, was waiting there at the goal line, and unfortunately for Southwestern, this will go against them.
And that wasn't a necessary penalty. That ball was terribly underthrown, unlike the one on the previous play. Horribly underthrown, and I don't think you need to grab him and lock him up. But when you're out there, he got burned once, and the receiver actually got behind the DB again that time. The ball was just underthrown, and just grabbed him, wrapped him up. Obvious. Both of the back judges throwing their flags on that was obvious pass interference.
First and 10 from the 25 after the 15-yard mark off. Two men go in motion to the other side. Greer in the pistol behind Johns. And, that's Phoenix who gets the handoff, and Phoenix gets back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play as Rosario Hernandez was the one who made the stop.
Carl, I think that's the 13th or 14th penalty in this game.
Yeah, there have been a lot of flags thrown here today. Clock still ticking at 1:20 left to play in the third. It's 14-6. The Lobos looking to add on to their lead. Johns in the shotgun. Phoenix to his left, and flags come flying in. False start on the Lobos.
Another penalty shutting things down again.
So 2nd and 15 now. Ball moved back to the 30-yard line. Phoenix in the backfield with Johns. Johns out of the shotgun. Johns with a quick fire over to the right side. Pass is incomplete, intended for Moody, and that brings up third down.
Big third down here. The Southwestern defense needs to get off of this field. This is probably 4-down territory for the Lobos.
Elijah Smith trying to pump up the fans here. A big third down. Clock stopped at 59 seconds left to play in the third quarter. 3rd and 15, ball on the 30-yard line. Johns in the pistol. Behind him is Phoenix. The blockers go in motion to the right side. It's a handoff to Phoenix. Phoenix working around the right side, being chased down by Crawford, able to avoid a tackle. And then he is undercut by Ludman, and that will be short of the yard to gain at around the 20-yard line.
Ball came loose on the tackle but rolled out of bounds harmlessly for the Lobos. So now they've got it a little bit closer. Going to attempt a field goal now.
The field goal attempt will come from Kevin Martinez. The hold from Cross. A 37-yard field goal. This one has the distance, but it does not have the accuracy as it's wide left, and the Pirates will go ahead and accept that as a result, as Martinez kicked a long point after attempt on the first touchdown following a celebration penalty on the Lobos, and now getting the ball back at the 21-yard line. Southwestern looking to get into the end zone with 13 seconds left to play in the third quarter. I imagine only one more play, unless it's an incomplete pass, will be played here in the third. Hank Moore in the shotgun. Play action here. Scans to the left, fires to the left, and it's incomplete, just out of the hands of Anthony Stevens on the coverage. Nice job staying hip to hip with Anthony Stevens is Jalen Bussey, and that'll bring up second down. 7 seconds left in the third quarter, and it's nice to see a little bit of faith in Moore to open up this playbook.
It is, and he had a receiver open in the middle, and I think just that lack of experience back there kept him from pulling the trigger on throwing that ball deep. But
2nd and 10 from the 21-yard line. Play action again. Moore going to roll out to the right, fire into the right, and just off of the hands of Brandenburg. And good coverage from Carter Bates goes ahead and brings up third down with 2 seconds left to play in the third. And back-to-back passes for Moore there. And if nothing else, this is part of his baptism by fire. He's getting an opportunity to try and hit those windows, and that was very dangerous. Could have been an interception. Instead, just goes off of the hands.
And at this point, it was a decent throw. Whenever he threw the ball, I was kind of concerned that it might be picked off, but he put it in the right spot. Brandenburg just wasn't able to pull that ball in.
Officials stop play. An illegal substitution against the Pirates backs him up, and it's a 5-yard variety that will go ahead and move the ball to the 16-yard line, making this a 3rd and 15. 2 seconds left, and mass substitutions coming in here to the huddle. And that's the other thing. I wonder how much of this just throws off the rhythm because they've moved to a huddle formation here for more since Gilpin left the game.
Well, when Southwestern substitutes like that on offense, you don't see a lot of changes on the Lobo defense.
And a false start goes against the Southwestern Pirates offensive line, and that's 5 more yards. Back-to-back penalties marks them back 10 yards on 3rd down. And there were, I believe, 12 seconds left when they got the ball, and now 10 seconds have come off, and that'll pretty much go ahead and mark them back to the 11. Moore in the shotgun. Smith behind him. An option here. Smith gets it on a pitch across the 10 to the 15, 20, finds some space, gets to the 25. Still well short of the yard to gain, but that'll be the last play of the 3rd quarter. And the score, 14-6. As we head into the 4th quarter, there is an injury on the field. I think that's Elijah Smith. Looks like he is in a fair amount of pain, and that's an unfortunate way to go into the 4th quarter, as Southwestern will likely punt it away when we come back on SHN Sports. Start of the 4th quarter, it's 14-6. Sol Ross leads Southwestern, and Eli Smith able to walk off under his own power. He took a tough hit at the end of the 3rd quarter. Here it is, 4th and 6 from the 25-yard line. Philip Keys will punt it away to Moody. Fans out here for Southwestern homecoming, hoping for a comeback. Here is Keys, sends this one away. End over end, fair catch called for by Moody at around the 41-yard line. They give him the 42, and 7 seconds comes off the clock on the punt here. And Sol Ross found a good rhythm there in the 3rd quarter where they scored 2 touchdowns, one of the offensive variety on a double reverse flea flicker for 44 yards, and then a special teams blocked punt returned for a touchdown.
It's going to take something like that Southwestern is going to have to create some break that they cause the Lobos to make a mistake either on special teams or a defensive score like that, because they are just struggling on the offensive side of the football.
1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line. It's Trey Johns in the shotgun. Greer behind him gives it to Greer, who runs around right end, follows his blockers for a couple yards, gain of 2 to the 44-yard line.
Good push out there on the right side, and I think Lobos are probably going to be content to run this football and drain this clock as quickly as they can, hoping to keep Southwestern from having one of those breaks that they need so desperately.
Yeah, it's a long drive out to Alpine, Texas, and they have a lead picked up here in the 3rd quarter. Their first offensive drive of the 4th quarter. Trey Johns, 2nd and 8 from the 44-yard line. Zone read. He hands it off to Greer. Greer finds space around right end, across midfield, across the 40 to the 30. Nobody in front of him at the 15, 10. End zone touchdown, Sol Ross State. Taking it 56 yards is Greer. I don't see any flags on the field as the officials blow a couple whistles, and that'll add on 6 more to the Sul-Ross State lead.
You see some of the frustration now on the Southwestern side, and we've known Greer's been capable of that right there all day. He was just needing a block or two, and he's gotten them. And, boy, that was a good quick run. Ran to the open space right through the hole that was created on the right side of the Lobos offensive line, and this may be out of reach.
The ensuing point after attempt through the uprights and good for Jaden Brown, and 14:08 left to play in the ball game, and the third touchdown of the second half scored by Sul-Ross State, and that zone read went ahead and put them in a really great position. 56 yards on the touchdown, separation of 15 points, and 2 field goals scored by Southwestern in the first quarter before Landry Gilpin went out is the only score here for Southwestern, as they're going to have to get creative with things they probably haven't practiced to maybe try and catch this defense off guard.
When he handed that ball to Greer, it was the perfect time to release that football, and you saw that hole just open up over there on the right side. Great job by them. So Southwestern's got to try something different now. There's nothing to lose. You got to open up something you haven't tried to this point.
Luna kicks this one away, end over end. That'll be taken by Castilleja at the 15, across the 20 on the numbers to the 30. Looks for blocking at the 35, and he cuts outside. That pushes him out of bounds at around the 40-yard line. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us up here. Carl Schoening along with Kelly Duvall, Michael Francis, and Nathan Height, our producers. Sidelines is Chuck Cracy, and great camera work today by Mickey Holden, who has been the all-star here of the game so far. 14:03 left to play in the fourth quarter, and if a comeback's going to happen, it needs to start on this drive, Kelly.
It does, and they're going to have to change something up because this running game's just not doing it right now.
1st and 10 for Moore. He hands it off, cutting around left end, getting forward, and picking up about 10 yards out to the 50. A solid start there by the running back Jeremiah Richardson, and the fans getting into it a little bit here after the gain of first down, and Richardson showing off the wheels.
They haven't had much to cheer about. It was a good patient run by Richardson. He let his blocks open up and hit the hole. Got that first down that's so desperately needed now.
3 men in the backfield with Moore. Here's Richardson behind him, and a little bit of a broken play. Moore's going to have to improvise. Goes around left end, spins forward, and gets his way into Lobo territory. Pick up a 4 on what looked like it should have been a handoff to Richardson. Richardson went right as Moore decided to offer the ball to the left.
Good strong run, and you did see a little confusion back there in the backfield, but good strong run there to gain something and turn it into a little decent gain there now. So second and not near as bad as 2nd and 10, but no pre-snap penalties here.
2nd and 6 ball on the Lobos 46-yard line. The officials are going to slow things down here. Moore has Shaw moving to his right. 2 receivers on both sides from the left hash mark. And it'll be a run play for Moore. Moore finds a block, turns the corner at the 43, lowers his head to the 41-yard line, and makes this a 3rd and 1 setup. And I think they want to run some tempo here.
Yeah, I got some tempo. Good call. I like this.
Moore will take it right ahead, picks up the first down, gets a good push behind him to the 37-yard line, and picks up the first down. And I think that was the first time we saw Moore in a quarterback and they didn't huddle.
Yeah, and that's exactly why, because you wanted that tempo so Lobos couldn't get set on defense. You need a yard for the first down. Good strong push, and that good strong young quarterback running right up the middle, following his blocks, and they got a good push on that line. First down, Pirates.
1st and 10 from the 37-yard line in Lobos territory. Moore in the shotgun. Behind him is Shaw. Patton moves into the backfield as a blocker. And it'll be Moore keeping it off the misdirection across the 30 to the 25-yard line. Picks up the first down, and, urgency here, trailing by 15, really helping out. as Moore is figuring out how to play some college football.
Very, very well-designed play out there, and the defensive end for the Lobos was standing there flat-footed watching the quarterback run past him.
1st and 10, ball at the 25. The Pirates offense moving here. Shaw will not get the handoff. There'll be a block for Moore. Moore looking for some space, but he is wrapped up and brought down by Eduardo Garcia. A loss of about half a yard to the 26-yard line. 2nd and 11 coming up. 11:09 left to play in the 4th.
So here's the adjustment. You got lots of movement after the snap of the ball, so now the Lobos are having to check hands on 4 different people back there in the backfield, and it's opened up a couple of good plays. So I like the adjustment that the coaches made here on this series. And Southwestern's now having a little success running the football. Again, you can't make mistakes and shut this drive down.
2nd and 11, ball on the 26-yard line. Moore has Smith behind him. Good to see Smith back in. It's a play action pass across the middle, underthrown into double coverage. And Anthony Stevens could not have gotten a hand on that one as it was thrown a little wide left of him, and he was well covered.
Moore wasn't able to get his feet set. He had some happy feet back there. Wasn't a lot of pressure on him, but he was the window was there, but closed very quickly because those 2 defensive backs for the Lobos shut down that pass real quick. Dangerous throw there turned out to be, but turns out not to hurt the Pirates.
Clock stops at 10:33 on the incomplete pass. 3rd down and 11 to go. Ball on the 26-yard line. Pirates in the Lobos territory trying to score. Moore in the pistol. Richardson behind him on the option. Instead, Moore's going to tuck through his right guard and was able to get to about the 23-yard line for a pickup of 3. They give him the 22 for a pickup of 4, but that brings up 4th down, and the Pirates feel pressured to go for it here, but I think they're going to actually bring out the field goal unit.
And this is an interesting call as well.
A 39-yard field goal attempt here. Earps will get the hold from Brandenburg. Earps sends this one away and is good just over the crossbar, and the 3rd field goal of the day from Earps makes it 21-9, and I suppose you take whatever points you can get and you go with the safe play instead of going for it on 4th and 7 and risking nothing coming out of that drive at all. 9:50 left to play in the 4th quarter, and the Pirates find themselves down 21-9, but maybe some good momentum there on the offensive side.
Yeah, you've got 9:50 left in the game. If your defense can come up with a stop here, you're 2 scores away. So you take the points and you go. Interesting call. That's one of those where you kind of flip a coin and decide, do we want to continue this drive or take some points and refresh?
You know, you take whatever you can get at this point and hope that your defense can maybe force a turnover at this, because you have to assume that you have to score on special teams or defense to get back in this game the way both of these teams are running such heavy clock reduction offenses.
Well, and you gotta hope you get one of those breaks. Maybe your defense can cause a turnover or Sol Ross makes some mistake.
Sol Ross was set up for an onside kick. Instead, it'll just be a touchback that will not have a chance to be returned. So maybe a little too early for the onside kick, but Sol Ross obviously very defensive of this 21-9 lead.
Well, and now your defense has to tighten. They got to grit their teeth and stop the Lobos here. You probably see some guys tackling the football to try to strip the football out. Probably heavy ground game from the Lobos right now, and see if you can create something.
9:50 left to play in the 4th quarter, and it does come down to the defense of the Pirates needing to get a stop here. Trey Johns, the quarterback for the Lobos, sends a couple blockers in motion to the left side. Greer in the backfield from the 25-yard line. Greer gets the handoff, runs around left end, and he is brought down. A nice stop made there in the backfield, a tackle for loss from Evan Villastrigo, and that'll be a loss of 1.
You're going to get the ball twice if you can make this stop here and stop the Lobos from making any first down. So you'll get the ball twice, but you're going to have to score twice.
Lobos burning a lot of clock here with the play clock. They're not even setting. It's under 18 seconds left here. 9:20 left to play in the fourth. 2nd and 11, ball at the 24-yard line. Trey Johns relays his information to the offensive line. They get set. Greer in the backfield to the left. Dropping back is Johns. Scans across the field, rolls out to the right, fires down the right sideline, and it is intercepted by a Pirate. Coming across it, getting to the 50-yard line, Damian Dawson with the turnover that we talked about the Pirates needing with 9 minutes left to play in the ballgame.
Well, and I'm quietly wondering why Sol Ross is choosing to throw the football here. That clock is your friend right now. You want that thing running, and an ill-advised pass out there that fluttered on the quarterback and was intercepted, and that's the break that Southwestern needed right there.
9 minutes left. Southwestern looking to score here. 1st and 10 from midfield. They trail 21-9. Moore in the shotgun. He'll play action, drops back for a pass, fires to the left side. It's caught by Shaw out of the backfield to across the 30 to the 25 and pushed out of bounds. And it looks like the young freshman from Stephenville is getting comfortable in the offense.
Well, it's a nice play call, good safe pass route to throw to. And that's going to open up some stuff because now your linebackers just can't camp. They've got to watch those running backs because that guy came out of the backfield and made a really good play out there on the edge.
Tank Moore in the shotgun. Shaw to his right. Brandenburg goes in motion. A handoff to Brandenburg on the end around. He's going to follow his blockers. Turns the corner at the 25. Lowers his shoulder at the 20. And I think he might have been able to get out of bounds. No, they keep the clock moving as he got it to the 21-yard line on first down. He picks up 5 yards.
Good patient run by Brandenburg out there. Not trying to make too much happen. Didn't cut it up too early. Made as much as he could out there on the edge, and then lives to fight another day. It got a 2nd and 5, which is where you want to be right now down at this end. Just, again, Southwestern can't make mistakes that kill their drive.
Shaw to the right of Moore in the shotgun. 2nd and 5. And it's a handoff to Shaw. Shaw crosses the 20-yard line. He's tripped up as he goes a little forward. A good stop made there on the deck by Terry, and that keeps the Pirates short of the first down. 3rd and 1 here. 7:30 left to play in the fourth quarter. The Pirates tempo the Lobos, and they're able to pick up the 1 yard they need. They get 2 and move the chains here in the red zone to the 15-yard line.
But now you've got something working if you're the Pirates. Good drive going. You get some confidence off of this drive right now. 7:20 left in the game. You've got time, so you can be patient, run your offense.
1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Moore in the shotgun, 2 men in the backfield with them. Dawson and Shaw. It's a handoff to Shaw, running to the left side. He trips up on the turf monster and is only going to pick up. No, they'll actually say no gain on the play. Shaw slips under his own power there.
He was frustrated because he had some room out there a little bit if he can shed one tackler. And, you get all excited. You've got some momentum going, but slip down right there. You see the frustration, but not a lot of harm in that.
It does start to tick off some clock here as it keeps moving at 6:33 left to play in the fourth quarter. 2nd and 10, ball at the 15-yard line. It'll be Richardson in the backfield behind Moore. Richardson gets the handoff, tries to run up the middle, runs into a sea of red, and was able to cut back to the line of scrimmage. And I think they will go ahead and give him half a yard around the 14-yard line. So go ahead and call it a gain of 1. 3rd and 9 here. 6 minutes left in the ball game. And you talk about it only being a 2-score game here. If the Pirates can get in the end zone, they're probably going to have to look at an onside kick.
They are. And this is you got to go for it on 4th down here if you can't convert this 3rd and long. So critical time for both the offense, Pirates offense, and the Lobo defense.
Brandenburg will get it on an end around here, looking for a block from Shaw. Spins away from a couple defenders, but a flag comes in the area of a hold as Shaw was out there trying to find a body to hit instead. Might have gotten a little handsy, and It will be short of the yard to gain anyway. We'll see if the Lobos will accept fourth down or move them back here. But either way, Pirates are going to have to go for it on fourth down. Let's see what these flags are about.
I think there's a hold out there, but I think there may also have been a block below the waist down the field.
A chop block is one of the calls. It looked like they will go ahead and replay the down. Or excuse me, no, he says third down. And it looks like they want to decline it. Instead of replaying the down, we'll bring up third down. So that's what the official here didn't check with the Lobos. The Lobos will go ahead and just have the fourth down.
That penalty was declined. Results of the play.
That's what we were confused about. We go ahead and take the fourth down, and here it is, fourth and about 6. Or go ahead and make it third down and 16, and instead it'll be 4th and 6, and the Pirates obviously have to go for it, trailing 21-9. 5:34 left to play in the fourth quarter. Clock is ticking, 15 seconds on the play clock. 3 timeouts left for Sul Ross State, 2 for the Pirates. Pirates on homecoming, trying to pick up a win on a comeback, and I think Joe Austin's going to use one of those 2 timeouts left to make sure the right play is called here.
Actually, Lobos called that timeout.
Oh, I beg your pardon. It looked like Joe Austin was the one who went out on the field to relay some information, but it was the Lobos who get charged with the timeout. An important defensive possession for them, obviously, because they can't give up a score and then get the ball recovered on an onside kick. This becomes a chess match now.
And it's an interesting call on whether to accept that penalty or decline it. You've got an offense that hasn't had a great deal of success. They're having some success on this drive. They had some on the previous drive, but I don't know. I might have taken that 15 yards and backed them up even more, especially with that clock on your side and them needing 2 scores.
They also made a questionable decision to pass it, and that led to an interception that started this drive for the Pirates. Moore in the shotgun. Shaw to his left. 4th and 6. This could be the game here. Moore rolls out to the left. He's under pressure right away. He's looking for some help here as he throws it into the end zone. It's intercepted at the goal line. Taking it across the 5 to the 10. Brandenburg pulls him down, but coming up with a big turnover is Moses. Javion Moses, the strong safety, gives the ball back to the Lobos on 4th down. That would have been a turnover on downs if they were unable to get the first down anyway, but that goes ahead and ensures that they will go ahead and not get the touchdown on the lob to the end zone, and the ball will be placed at the 18-yard line with 5:09 left to play in the fourth quarter. I imagine they will not be passing on this drive.
Well, you see the wind come out of the sails of the Pirates on that play, and that was just a backbreaker right there. Heavy dose of run game for the Lobos now, I would guess.
Greer is the tailback out of the pistol. And the shotgun, it is Johns. Trey Johns moves a couple blockers over to the left side. Johns hands it off to Greer. Greer goes around left end, and he is brought down on the stop by Ludman, but only a gain of 3 yards. More importantly, a lot of time ticking off here on the play clock as the clock keeps moving.
You're going to get the ball back, but you got to score quick if you get the ball back, but you got to stop them here.
2nd and 7. 4:40 left to play in the fourth quarter. 18 seconds on the play clock, and I imagine they would let it go down to 5, and whistles stop things here as Greer will run to the sidelines. 4:31 left is where the clock stops.
Yeah, resetting the clock.
Similar to our problems with Chuck Cracy, we're having trouble understanding the referee on the field, so the White Hat now winds up the clock, and 4:30 left to play in the fourth quarter, and Trey Johns doesn't look interested in taking the snap anytime soon here with 15 seconds left on the play clock. In fact, he's rubbing his hands like it isn't hot enough outside, and he's waiting for the snap. He's going to go ahead and give the call now. Hands it off to Phoenix. Phoenix around the left side, gets across the 25 to the 30 where he runs into Ludeman, and that'll go ahead and be enough for the first down, and whistles stop play here.
Yeah, it's going to be offsides on Southwestern, I think. Or an illegal motion.
It will be the illegal motion, and that'll take away the gain, but we repeat second down. Eventually they're going to wind that clock again, and more time will come off, and while the Lobos don't get that first down that they were hoping for, it will certainly still be a game plan to chew up as much clock here and maintain this two-possession lead. Under 4 minutes to play in the fourth.
It's a head scratcher for the Southwestern coaching staff to try to figure out what you do at this point in the game.
2nd and 12, ball on the 16-yard line. It'll be Phoenix getting the handoff this time across the 15 and stop short of the 20 as Ludeman came in and made the tackle, and that'll still keep him at the 18-yard line. And
Pirates called a timeout.
Yeah, Pirates called a timeout here to stop the clock at 3:35 left in the fourth quarter. They'll have one timeout left. Sol Ross will have two. As you hear the SHN Sports plug, we'll go ahead and plug it as well. Every Thursday, Joe Austin is with Rob Hipp for the Coaches Show here, the Southwestern Coaches Show over at the Sheridan in Georgetown. You can watch it on SHN Sports. And a big shout out to Rob Hipp, calling perhaps the biggest game he's called in his broadcasting career today at NRG Stadium, the Battle of the Piney Woods between Sam Houston State and Stephen F. Austin. They've been playing that game for 90-something years now, and that'll be a fun one for our good buddy and my co-owner here at SHN Sports, Rob Hipp.
They've taken the Battle of the Piney Woods out of the Piney Woods and put it in the swamps of Houston. But
the concrete jungle, if you will.
Calling a game at NRG has got to be just amazing for Rob, and we're so happy and proud for him.
Trey John sends two blockers in motion left to right. Here's 3rd and 10. 3:35 left to play in the fourth. It's a handoff to Greer, who bounces outside across the 20 to the 25-30. He has the first down that he needs as he is brought down on the play by Southwestern's Jules Williams, but he stays in bounds, and Southwestern, with only one timeout left, will wisely go ahead and elect to use it at a later day, but also wisely, Sol Ross is not even interested in getting a play off here with 25 seconds left on the play clock, taking their time.
Well, there's not much that Southwestern can do right now except try to strip the football away from the ball carrier. I'll tell you what, I am awfully impressed with that little number 2, man. Greer is just fast, and now he's getting the blocks that he needs. And that's how you milk this clock.
Wiltion Greer's the tailback out of the pistol. He gets the handoff, finds a gap on the B side of the left side, and gets to the 38-yard line for a solid pickup of 5 yards on first down. 2:35 and more time coming off here in the fourth quarter.
Southwestern guys have their hands on their hips. They're starting to get tired now at this point in the game, as hot as it is on that field. You can't blame anybody for being a little exhausted at this point in the football game, but they got to dig deep right here and try to stop this Lobo drive, get the ball back. But we're at almost 2 minutes left in this game.
Looks like Phoenix is in the backfield here. Or I beg your pardon, that is still Greer. Greer getting the handoff, and he is tackled at the line of scrimmage, but the clock's still moving. 3rd and 5 coming up here. And before the victory formation, the Lobos will need to get a first down. There's still one timeout left here, so if Southwestern gets the stop, I imagine it'll be used there to try and give their offense as much time as possible before the punt.
Yep, one more first down, this is over. So you got to stop that. I would sell my soul on stopping number 2 right now.
Greer is in the pistol behind Trey Johns. Johns will hand it off to Greer. Greer bottled up in the backfield, turns back to the 40-yard line and will be stopped short of that 40. Brings up 4th down, and a timeout used by Joe Austin, his last of the game, stops the clock at 1 minute, 13 seconds left to play in the 4th quarter. It's 21-9, and Southwestern will need a miracle or two to get back into this ball game.
Or 3 or 4.
It certainly would be a time for them to need to score on a special teams punt return probably, and then get an onside kick, and then score on a play with under a minute left. So that's basically what you're asking for. So, yeah, maybe it is 3 miracles.
Yeah, at this point, when I say I do this, that, or the other, it's obvious why I'm not a football coach, but I'd be going after this punt. You've gotten close. Blocked 1 punt earlier. You've gotten close on several other ones. They're spreading the field with their kick coverage team, trying to keep that from happening much. But
it will be a rugby-style punt by Cross as he's able to get it away just with the nick of time. Castilleja is able to avoid a couple defenders, frees himself up across the 30. He might have gotten grabbed by the face mask as he was taken out of bounds. No flag coming in. The official was a little closer than I was as he was brought down a little awkwardly, and I guess the Pirates' drive will start at the 31-yard line with 1:03 left to play in the 4th quarter.
I think it's actually around his neck. I kind of thought he might have gotten it, but it looked like his hand was under his chin, not on that face mask. So number 9 is going to have to throw the ball.
Yep.
You won't have any chance running it.
Hank Moore with Shaw behind him in the shotgun, and it's a play action. Looking to the left and now rolling out to the left under pressure, and then brought down in the backfield by Jadon Wilson. A tackle for loss all the way to the 26-yard line, and the clock's still moving. Pirates out of timeout. They're going to have to get back to the line of scrimmage quickly. 43 seconds left to play in the 4th. Moore, play action. Fires to the right side. It's well short. Anthony Stevens was the intended receiver, and that stops the clock at 36 seconds left to play in the 4th quarter. It brings up 3rd and long from the 26, 16 yards to gain.
On that previous play, your quarterback's leaving the pocket. Your receivers have to come back and help him, and they're standing flat-footed out there, not giving him any place to go with the football. You got to come back and help that quarterback, and Hank Moore's running around back there for his life.
And it's a Brandenburg catch. He's able to get back to the original line of scrimmage. And that brings up 4th down, which obviously the Pirates are going to go for. 20 seconds coming off, or 20 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Moore drops back for potentially the last Pirates play. It's intercepted and then brought down at the 40. Sol Ross will take over either way as Contreras is the one who comes up with the interception. And all Sol Ross State needs to do now is take a knee, and that'll spoil the Southwestern homecoming game.
A lot of disappointment for the Pirates in this game. And, I know we've talked about it, and folks are probably getting tired of hearing about it, but the injuries have just decimated this Pirates offense this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're on your 4th-string quarterback, a freshman from Stephenville who you probably weren't expecting to use at all, considering at the Sewanee game we were talking about how great the quarterback depth was. Go ahead and not have an issue. We'll go ahead and check with Chuck, but if the ref's mic isn't working, I'm sure our mic isn't working as the Lobos go ahead, take a knee. Chuck, we got you down there on the sidelines. Let's see if we can get you.
Well, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey,
okay.
That works out. And then it cuts out.
Now,
hey, we see you in our line of sight, but we're assuming that we have the same issues as we have with the referees. So go ahead and give it one more shot. No, we don't hear you. So, you're going to have to tell Coach Austin that if he wants to do the post-game interview, he'll have to come up here because we're having the same officials as the White Hat, who we were unable to hear the majority of his calls all game long. The teams shaking hands here as a good show of sportsmanship. The Pirates fall on the season and lose their second game of the season. They fall to 3-2. The Lobos improve to 2-3, and Chuck Cracy down there with Joe Austin. I am not sure if Coach Austin will be coming up to the booth, and
it looked like a no.
Chuck just will say that it
it's
is
a
a no, and it's just we'll wrap it up here upstairs then, Kelly, as 21-9 your final score. Southwestern falls to Sul Ross State. We talk about the injury in the first quarter on the second drive of the game to Andrew Gilpin, and in comes Hank Moore. And honestly, Moore started to find a little bit out about college football and figured out a little bit how to play against the Sul Ross State, but just a tough game all around injury-wise for Southwestern.
Right, and you've got so many issues going. I'm going to be really interested to hear in the coaches' show how they're going to deal with these injury issues there, because you don't know how long these guys are going to be out and what that's going to do. But everybody's dealing with injuries. It's just part of the game that you got to deal with. So now the coaches have to regroup for the offense. Defense played well. They held the Lobos for the vast majority of the game, and it was kind of the same thing that happened last week. Was you got to rely heavily on the defense, and you just got nothing to give them a break with. So we'll see how they regroup for next week.
Well, the Pirates were able to start off strong with a 23-yard field goal to take a 3-0 lead, a 33-yard field goal for a 6-0 lead. That was the score going into the half. It's then a 14-point third quarter from the Lobos, where they were able to score on a 44-yard double reverse flea flicker that scored the first touchdown of the game, and then a blocked punt recovered for a special teams touchdown score made it 14-0, and then a big 56 run by Wiltion Greer goes ahead and takes it 56 yards to the house, closes the scoring as the Pirates were able to get one more field goal to make it 21-9, but that was it for Southwestern, and that will write the end of the story, as the Pirates will have a big week of preparation to do here before they go up to play Belhaven in Mississippi.
Yeah, that's going to be a long week for the coaches, long week for the players in getting ready for that, because you come into this game thinking you've got a really good chance to win this football game, and then they've dealt with so many injuries and bounce back and keep playing hard, and then you're to your third quarterback, Gilpin, and he gets hurt early in the game, and you just can't recover from that for this game. So a lot of work ahead of them, but still a lot that can go on in this season. So the Pirates are going to have to get back, regroup, and pull it out next week.
Well, we appreciate all of you for tuning in. Big thank you to Nathan Height and Michael Francis, our producers, the all-star camera operator out there, Mickey Holden. For Kelly Duvall, I'm Carl Schoening. Thank you guys for watching this edition of Southwestern Pirate Football on SHN Sports. Once again, your final score, Sul Ross State 21, Southwestern 9. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.
Goodbye, folks.